Futures back in positive territory once again this morning, coming off an impressive performance yesterday right across the board for stocks. All three major U.S. indexes sharply higher at the end of the day, led by the NASDAQ and tech stocks in general, up more than 2%, 1 plus for both the S&P and the Dow. All about earnings this morning. Netflix, wow, 26% and change right now to the downside for Netflix, dragging all of the streaming related stocks along with it. Roku, Disney, we'll have a look at all of them. Paramount even to the downside. Even saw Spotify under pressure here this morning. So not good for Netflix. First time they've lost subscribers in 10 years in a quarter. So not a good look whatsoever. IBM, on the other hand, decent report for them. Stocks higher. Procter & Gamble also beating expectations. P&G, obviously a Dow component, so should help out the Dow a little bit. Tuesday, as we said, widespread buying right across the board. 10 of 11 S&P sectors in positive territory by the end of the day. Treasury yields remain on watch as well. We had the 10-year hitting its highest level since 2018 yesterday. So we'll watch some of these Treasury yields still moving around like crazy. It's Wednesday, April 20th. Yeah, it's 4:20. TraderTv.live starts now. There we go. Look at where we're at this point. Yeah, nicely positive right across the board. Once again, 0.4, 0.35, and 0.4. For the S&P, the Dow, and the NASDAQ to kick things off. Pretty flat to start here in Toronto for TSX futures. You can see nice 1+% gains for crude oil, Bitcoin, and Ethereum at the bottom end of the board. If you remember, what a week it's been for energy markets. I mean, 5% to the downside yesterday for crude oil. That was coming off a 2% gain. We're back to the upside, 1+%. So far this morning. Good morning, guys. Yeah, Arun back in the building with us once again. Neil still under the weather. An interesting Wednesday setting up here. Not good if you're in the streaming space this morning, guys.
No, not a good day for streamers or for any Netflix shareholders today. But you know what? I think there's always going to be silver lining. I mean, you got to look at things. Hey, what's up? Don't look at me. Look at the camera there. What's up to Jarhead? I just saw you in the chat as well. Welcome back, brother. Glad to see that some of our old-time friends are back with us right now. But yeah, look, I mean, Netflix got clobbered yesterday. We obviously talked about that live during the show. I mean, that number came out like, what, right at 4 o'clock? And then it just started to get creamed to the downside. That was really fun to watch this. 350 all the way down here to 250. And I mean, what a wild ride there for Netflix shareholders. And yeah, the first time in 10 years, like you mentioned there, Brendan, that they lost. But they've also missed, listen to this, Arun, 14 of the last 16 quarters they've missed. So it's not like this was a surprise. It's just obviously that huge number. Now, they lost 200,000 subscribers when they were expecting to get about 2.7 to 3 million or so subscribers, like we were talking about that the day before. And the thing is that they also lost 700,000 Russian subscribers because they kicked those guys out, right? And so there was something there. And they're also worried about the password sharing. So I think that there's a few different things that we can look at. And I feel like they said in their call, over 100 million households share passwords. So, I mean, if they're able to convert over, and by the way, I got the Ice Cube on today. If they're able to convert over, hey, we're kind of matching there a little bit.
Yeah.
That if they're able to convert over even 10%, of those, then, that's going to be a nice little windfall for them as well. So I've got a couple plans here. We'll talk about that when we get into it. But I want to go long if 256 breaks. I want to go short if 250 breaks. But how was your evening, Arun? It was hailing on me yesterday.
It was slightly raining on the way home, but it was good for the most part. But back to Netflix, it's the issue is not so much the password or not the subscribers, the 200K subscribers they lost. It's going to be the password. The password sharing is going to be the biggest issue for them. It's been happening forever. I mean, when you allow somebody to have 3 profiles or 5 profiles, what did you think was going to happen? Well, you give an account 3 profiles, or their premium one's 5 profiles.
I mean, I have that too.
What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I give it to the mother-in-law.
Exactly. Everyone does it.
My
Like,
parents.
that's on them. So
My kids have their own log.
how they're going to go about kind of getting through, fixing that now without backlash is going to be very interesting to watch. But I think where Netflix lost, someone else gained. So all these sympathy moves that you're seeing from either Roku or Spotify as well.
Yeah.
And then what's the other one?
There's Disney.
Disney's
There's,
the other one.
That new spinoff from AT&T.
Where did those people go? Because you know they didn't just straight up cancel, right? Apart from the ones that were lost because of overseas, issues, but the ones that actually were lost, legit lost, where did they go? It's not like you lost them. It's not like they all of a sudden canceled their subscription to that. I'm not going to watch anything else. They went somewhere clearly. So I'm going to play for make some sympathy plays here. Maybe Disney, maybe some other plays that's set up, but definitely some other names to watch. I probably won't play Netflix. What did you got?
Some people are asking what shoes I'm wearing. So it's the customs. You see the SC there? We got the SC on the back, custom colors, everything like that. So that's what we're rocking today. We got that there. So thanks for asking. But it's the lucky shoes. But I consider every pair of shoes to be pretty lucky because, hey, you create your own luck sometimes. And it should be a good one today, Brendan. Some good talk here. Welcome to all our traders. Share the program, like the program, and let's get this today, man. I mean, we're feeling good. We've got the energy. Yesterday was a super fun day to trade, I feel like, and today's going to be even better. So hey, I'm excited, man. 54 minutes, and let's get this bell rocking.
Yeah, under an hour to go. The morning shoe report, maybe, Sean, we should introduce as a new segment. I like that. Let's, before we go any further, bring in Miss V. Good morning.
Good morning, team. It's going to be a busy and exciting day. Please enjoy your trading, like this video, and let's get it started, Brendan.
Lots to get through here as we head towards the open, as we said, under an hour to go. Just watching a couple of things here. Wayfair just moving on a downgrade, it would look like. But I want to go back to some of these streaming stocks to kick things off because, I mean, you guys hinted at it there, so we'll talk about this in depth, going forward throughout the morning. But a lot of these made huge moves along with Netflix aftermarket and have come into areas where are they interesting? And the bigger question, obviously, is this a streaming problem in general right across the board, or is this Netflix specific? Here's Roku, as we mentioned, back to multi-week lows once again that we tested both earlier this week and at the end of last week. But I mean, 7% for Roku all the way back to 107 here.
I mean, you were on that Roku tip yesterday. I mean, I put down here on the sticky note, I mean, it's pretty packed today. And thanks to trader formerly known as Jude Fernando for bigging up the sticky note today. But Netflix, Disney, NVIDIA, Facebook, and Palantir. What up to Henry Z? Palantir finally makes the list again. But since we're talking about streaming, I mean, look at Disney, man. It's been pretty bad for a little while here. Needless to say, on the daily chart, just straight to the downside. We thought that there was a couple issues with the streaming service up here on their last, or 2 reports ago, and we got out of the way. Then in January, very similar response again to the downside. And then now they haven't even reported yet, and Disney right back in here into 120 again. So I'm a little worried about other streaming services. But again, like some of Netflix's problems, might be to their own demise here, right? I mean, they upped prices, and I know Disney did that as well. And they're more of a legacy streaming. I feel like Disney's kind of just getting going here. They have a couple decent offerings. But again, I'm not impressed with the Disney suite there. But if you're Marvel or Star Wars or have kids, and I mean, there's lots of benefits, I feel like, the streaming service. But you mentioned, what does this mean for the rest of the industry here? First of all, I like Disney because, and what I put down on the sticky note was, they have so many more levers to pull, right? They're not just a streaming service. They've got that Hulu. The Kardashians are now just on there, which, I don't know. You watch the Kardashians? No, that was an easy one. But neither do I. But the Kardashians now on Disney. I think ABC is putting Dancing with the Stars over onto the streaming service as well. So who I really think gets hit from this is sort of the legacy cable companies, because honestly, if people are going to cut cable and cut streaming services, I'm not sure Netflix is going to be the first one to get cut. What I actually think will happen is, and I mean, I know this, I still have a small cable package, but cable packages are expensive. Like, you're talking about like $80, $90, $100 a month, something like that. And sure, they have packages, HBO Max and things like that. But honestly, you know what the churn is for Apple? Apple's 10% a month for Apple TV, back and forth, dropping services, people adding it, back and forth, 10% a month. Netflix is actually the best. They don't get as many people cutting the cable. So I feel like Disney, Hulu, Netflix, that new Time Warner Discovery, I feel like this is just a little bit of a dip, and they're going to be buying opportunities at some point. Netflix is going to have a 2 handle on them on the PE very, very soon. So I don't want to call them a value stock, but they're still selling a crap ton every single month. They're going to be looking at that ad sponsor. And I like Disney, and we started this with Disney. I like Disney today because I think they got hit too much on this. They have the theme parks, they have the reopening. So if you're all over the reopening plays, I feel like Disney's going to be a good one for that. They have the cruise lines, and you're getting a nice discount today, down to 4.7%. Now, I know there's some headwinds with Disney. Some political views got passed around there that weren't liked by some. So there's going to be that kind of a problem with Disney as well. But I think they're beat down a little bit too much. I'm going to be trying to find some strength in Disney today.
Yeah, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. Disney was my choice here. And when we're looking at names, we're looking at names strictly from the day trading, intraday trading perspective, right? Forget everything else. Intraday trading, is Disney a buy or is Disney a sell? You look at the chart, obviously it fell off hard in the overnight session, sympathy move with Netflix. It looks like it's starting to find some support around 125. If you want to make some money and you can put everything else aside, then I would say look at the potential for a long here north of 127. That's what I'm going to look for anyways on Disney. See if we can't get it back into the 130s. That's the play there. And then the opposing side, the other option actually is Roku. For anyone wondering, Roku, the timing on Roku, yeah, you see that? That's the long on Roku that I had yesterday. That exit right there. Final few minutes just before all of this came out, and then down we go through 108. I'll be looking at Roku as well, potential longs, see if we can get a base out around this area here, around this 111, 112 area. If we base out and get a move going, then, depending on the risk, it's already taken out that 108 area that I wanted to work with, or that I did work with yesterday when I took the 112 long. I don't know if I can use that again, and the risk might be a little too high to price it there again. So if I go 112 with the 107, that seems expensive, knowing that 117 is going to be a problem. So maybe I might just focus on Disney a bit more than Roku today, but I'll keep it up. See if I can get a decent risk reward on Roku, which is also an option for a potential long. If it continues to the sell side, hey, hands off. This market's positive. This market could come back a little bit and still be positive. So I'm going to go hands off on the shorts here.
There's Paramount Plus, the other side of that deal we were talking about earlier. Excuse me. The reason I mentioned that is started watching that Halo show on the weekend. It's actually really good. My voice is dying for some reason. Peloton, I wanted to mention real quick, guys. There's a couple of analyst moves worth noting this morning. Peloton back to the downside this morning. There's also Wayfair. So here's Peloton. Citigroup raising to buy from neutral on Peloton. Here's Wayfair. Morgan Stanley cutting its price target on Wayfair. So Wayfair to the downside. There's Peloton back to the upside. Remember late yesterday we were talking about a possible rowing machine apparently now for Peloton as well. So a couple of angles there. But lots and lots of analyst moves. 9, count them, 9 total on Netflix alone.
9 moves on Netflix, upgrades and downgrades. Is that what you said?
All negative.
All negative, yeah. I mean, look, there's not going to be too much love for Netflix today. Some people asking me about what the 3-day rule is, and basically it's just you buy the stock in the afternoon of that 3rd day. And the reason why, and it worked. It worked a couple times on a few stocks. We haven't talked about this in a while because it happens when stocks get absolutely beat down. Now, PayPal and Facebook did have some bumps in the week preceding their huge move to the downside. But honestly, for Netflix right here, if you look at a daily chart, I think we're coming in. I don't know if this is going to load up enough, but there is support down there at 240. I was thinking, oh yeah, maybe this might not even load. You got to go way back to grab this. But there's support here at 250, 260, which is what eventually this will load up. I'm thinking right here, right? So here's 250 right there. That's what we're talking about right now. That's actually 251 going all the way back to, wow, September of 2019 is where we're at right now. And then this, and I did a little bit of homework. I told you right back down here. There's another support level. It's 231, sorry, not 241. But down there at 231, and then you just uptick it a little bit, and you're right back here to 250. So you did have, you know, a little bit of a dip down there, obviously. Remember we talked about them missing 14 of the last 16 quarters? So yeah, I mean, this is a drastic move down, obviously, when you get it down here, but this needs to be bought. I mean, I am going to be buying Netflix. So it's just a matter of time before I pull the trigger, and I might pull it today. I'm probably going to start a position on Netflix today. Like, you're right back to where we were in September of 2019. So, you know, I don't think Netflix has ever had a PE south of 30. And I think with this number, I'm going to wait for it to get updated because, again, it's price to earnings. So you got to figure out the earnings to get the price in there, blah, blah, blah. I don't need to tell you guys that. So I'm not sure exactly what it's going to come out to today. But at some point, they're going to figure this out, and I don't think it goes much lower right here than this 234. So we'll have to look at that. I'm a buyer here. I think if you have $1,000, just throwing out a number, to put into Netflix, nothing wrong with putting in $300 to $400, 30 to 40% of a position. Maybe not straight off the open. Let's see how we go here. But what does it really matter, honestly? If you buy Netflix today at 254, where it is right now, or if you come out and you wait a couple days and you get it at 248, you could get it at 248 in an hour, or you could be paying 258. Either way, I think you're sort of pulling at straws here. The downgrades bother me, obviously, Arun, so I feel like there's going to be an exodus of shares today, especially. So, you know, if you want to get your shopping list out, I feel like Netflix should be on there. I feel like Disney should be on there on this report. And I will be going in there and starting to buy a little bit of probably each. Well, I'm already into Disney. Probably just Netflix as a starter position. I'm not in Netflix. So, yeah, I think this is a good time to start buying them. Let's let it flush out. Let's let all these analysts come out, get their teeth going on this, take a couple bites, you know, chop this price down just a little bit more, and then your boy will be in there buying.
Yeah, I mean, Netflix, my whole thing with Netflix is, at least from my personal experience, especially with the stuff that my wife watches, it's all seems to be NBC. And isn't NBC also coming out with Peacock?
They have Peacock.
Is it out?
We don't have it here, but it's in the States.
So, like, that's going to be a big competition as they start pulling shows off of Netflix, too. So that's going to be a problem. That's something to watch in terms of technicals. I mean, value purchases, it's one thing. Technicals on Netflix is they don't look good, to say the least. So here's what Netflix looked like overnight, and then you guys know where it's trading now, which is $100 lower. So, or is it $100 lower? Yeah, it is $100 lower. It's like $250, stuck down here from 340, 350 or so. So here we are looking at 250 even. What I'd watch out for after an extensive move like this is going to be a trap move through 250. Because 250 is such a big round number, after we cleared 300, next up was 250. We're not going to get to 300, obviously, at the open. So it's going to have to be 250 at the open. And if we get through 250 and we fail out and come back up, oh, there's going to be a problem. This could be oversold and you get a move to the upside. If we get through 250 and can't bounce, yeah, look for this to trend to continue on Netflix. So definitely going to watch Netflix for a potential trade, but at the same time, I've got a ton of bids out looking for buy on the dip. Mike Crehan, your pigeon did land. I got the message. I will get to it when I get around to the futures, and we talk about that a little bit more. So for now, we're going to go back to Brendan.
All right, another obviously notable earnings report to come tonight after market, and that, of course, is going to be Tesla. Shanghai gets going once again yesterday. The stock was up nicely on that on the day yesterday. We're back above that high, 1030, 1025 to 1030. I guess a bit of a range yesterday, but it's worth a note. I mean, as we say, you know, going into any earnings report, a little bit of caution, maybe noteworthy today for Tesla.
First of all, we will get to Tesla right now. I just want to say, first of all, like, how crazy is it right now that Netflix is really just holding like a 50-cent range? Like, it's really just going back and forth. I mean, let's call it $2, but it's back and forth with like 250, 150. It's going to be hard to see. Let me see if I can zoom this in a little bit now, because we have these stupid wicks. I'll have to clean these up, man. That just got made right there. But it's going from 250 back to 252, back and forth, 253. So it's like, it's not really doing that much right now, which is interesting to me. Let's see what happens at 9 o'clock. Okay, Tesla right now. What a great move yesterday. A crazy move. The NASDAQ was up 2+%. And there's Tesla, man. Once again, just saying hold my beer to everybody. Like, today's going to be another one of those moments for Tesla. What are they going to do at 420. That's probably when they're going to release the earnings. So he picked the date. He's going to pick the time. So I imagine 420. Tesla comes out today, and I'm going to say they surprise everybody. There we go. Yeah, buddy. And happy 420 to everybody. If you are going to partake, do it, safely is what I was going to say right there, because sometimes I see these. I mean, people here at Queen's Park is going to be nuts. Maybe I'll go for a walk at lunchtime just to see the parties going on over there. But 1040 right there, Tesla. I think, look, Giga 3 is operating. Shanghai right now, obviously back online. I feel like Tesla would already be, I don't want to say up to 1100, but if Shanghai was on board the last 3 weeks and there wasn't some of that negativity coming through, and it's not negativity from Tesla, it's just a simple fact that they were pumping out a car every 30 seconds out of that Shanghai plant. That got delayed, right? But they're rocking, man. They've got Austin, they've got their plants operating at full capacity. I feel like Tesla is going to be a good number tonight, and I don't know what to say about taking a position beforehand. We said that about Netflix. It's very, very dangerous to try to sit here and predict something, but I'm already long Tesla. I feel like there's absolutely no reason to sell any of these shares. And to be quite frank with you, I'm so bullish that I think we could take out new highs tomorrow. I think this stock could be up 10% off the earning, and then you come in here and then you get another 5% or so, and you're close to that 1200 right there, and then we see what happens on that print. So I feel like they've got the supply chain. They've already talked about managing that their last quarter. They've come out with notes about that. There's going to be, I feel like, possibly some kind of an announcement, maybe about the Cybertruck, how that's been going. And let's just wait to see here what kind of numbers Tesla brings out. But as far as a day trade is concerned, oh, there it goes. I zoomed in too much for that one. Yesterday's high of 1037. Actually, sorry, yesterday's high. Oh, we're way up from that. This pre-market high of 1037. I think that's a break that you take. So let's just see what the NASDAQ does here. I think this is a good break to go long on Tesla. You also do have this support again of 1020 yesterday. So you get a little bit of a dip down into that. Then there's your support for Tesla. So I like this pre-market break right here. But I think I won't be... I probably won't be looking at it because of the other names that we have on the board. I think it's going to be a super busy day. But I like Tesla long today, and I know that you don't normally trade Tesla, but I don't think it can be ignored through that 1037 pre-market high.
I mean, intraday trading is one thing. I'm looking at, this is the weekly chart, by the way, on Tesla, and Tesla's earnings today is going to move it either to the top end, towards that 1200, or we're going to go back underneath 900. That's going to be it. Tesla's going to do something. It's setting up. It's been looking like this, which is unusual. Last time it did something like this, which is a tight range, it did a massive move to the downside. This was back in mid-February when we actually went into a tight range around that 925 and then finally broke down towards 700. So it's tightening up again. You know that's setting up for something. It's going to be either 1200 to the brand new high, 1200 into 1250 into brand new highs, or going through 900 to the downside. It's opening. It's going to open up at some point. If you're willing to play the game, and you're willing to play the aggressive and volatile game that is Tesla, good luck to you, because I won't be involved. Brendan.
All right, a few analyst moves for everyone. We've talked about a couple of these already, but let's make it official. Airbnb, top of the list here. Citigroup, very busy today, talking about a lot of different stocks. There's Meta on the list this morning as well, Snapchat and Peloton. AMD, price target cut from Deutsche Bank, but overall pretty strong the past couple of days. There's Netflix, Hasbro. Yep, Rivian, another price target cut as well.
How come I don't see Palantir on that list, Ms. V? We're gonna have a problem after the show here, because Palantir also, we'll get to Palantir in a minute because I want to talk about Facebook, but Palantir also upgraded today by RBC, so I'm excited for that. That made our sticky note for sure. Yeah, so excuse me here. Citigroup upgraded from a buy to neutral with a $300 price target here for Facebook. Facebook yesterday was a freaking monster for me. This is why we're partly in the ice cube. We went long 211 yesterday, again off the sticky note, breaking through. We had 212 written on the sticky note, just this high from the previous day. But we said enough was enough, took it on this VWAP break, and then had it for $7, then had this dip again. Okay, trade's just loaded up there, so that's pretty cool. So here it is right here, just what we were talking about. There's my long yesterday, right, 211. Busted it all the way up before getting out right here, and then got long again. So we got out on the drop back down in, breaking through 217, and then 217, 216.50 held. So we got right back in, rode that up to 218. So yeah, yesterday was a good day. And then there's our final out right there in the aftermarket. And then we had an order left. Look where my order was, right? Breaking that 216.50, that was a short. We were able to get out of that one by accident. I mean, that was a 50-cent win just by accident there because Netflix brought this name down here. And then now today, Citigroup coming out. They like the stock. I like the stock. So you know what I'm looking at? Right here again. I mean, I have 217, I believe, written down. Yeah, 217 written down here for a break. Again, sort of coinciding with some of these dip levels. But now that I look at it, I like this better. Well, it's same trade. 216.50 long. You know, yesterday it held before we get Netflix. Facebook has nothing to do with Netflix. Although, you know, it's just a general tech weakness. But I feel like, and again, I'm going to say this again, and I know Mike Murphy just said it on the chat as well. I feel like Netflix is fine, man. I mean, it's nasty. It's a nasty hit down, but you're down 27% on Netflix here today. Can it go lower? Yes, it can. We saw what happened to Facebook. We've seen what's happened to PayPal. But I feel like Netflix is being honest with their problems, and we sort of know the streaming, where we're going with all of this. And at some point, people are going to be buying up Netflix. So I like the stock. We'll wait to see. But I've liked Facebook since 180. We talked about getting that, picking that up near the bottom. We did some shopping there. So today, for me, the most interesting upgrade on that whole board is going to be Facebook. And it's by Citigroup. I do like Airbnb. Airbnb has been held up so well, man. ABNB, let's have a quick look at that. I believe this one's going to be New York. Am I going to be wrong on that? Is that a NASDAQ name again? There, yes, I am. So Airbnb 175. Holding, man. Like, if you want to look at a name that and we talked about this was one of our names back in January that was going to be a play for the year. Now, it hasn't really done well for the year. It's about flat. But when you consider that the NASDAQ's down 17%, same with the S&P, those numbers might slightly be off because of the last couple of days. But 172, 173, I really like Airbnb. I think if you're talking about a reopen trade, and, you know, we have some people around here that are starting to go on vacation now, Airbnb, and I'm not going to blow up you, Brendan, but I believe yours was an Airbnb maybe as well. So I just got the nod there. So as we reopen, I already know multiple people here that are, you know, purchasing, or I guess vacationing through Airbnb. So I like that stock. I like the Meta upgrade. I like the Airbnb upgrade. And I have no idea. I know why Rivian got downgraded, but no idea what's going on with that AMD downgrade. We saw ASML come out with some good numbers here. We shorted AMD yesterday, so I get it. I've been short. All these purples are shorts, but then we switched to long. All the reds are getting out of longs. So we switched to long yesterday and took a nice winner, man. This is why yesterday was a fun, super fun day with this defense of 95.50 there for AMD. So I don't understand that downgrade. I would take any weakness as strength in the stock. So weakness in the call, buy the stock. I believe it's strong. So I like all that, man. I like Facebook. I like Airbnb. And I feel like today is going to be a very bullish day one more time. We had 2+% yesterday, Arun. I like it again today.
So you guys may see on the screen that I jumped into a Netflix short. Yeah, it just looked like there's some pressure coming in. So I actually put on my scalper's hat just to take a quick short, see if I can be already positioned in the event that Netflix goes after that 250 break to the downside. If we get that 250 break, I'm going to cash out and then see. I'll try to hold after the open, but I'm not going to try to hold too much after the open. But I want to see if we can actually get a move to the downside through that 250 before we even get to the open, because there's definitely some pressure here. And we're getting closer and closer. The spread is 40 cents, but the bid is right now 250.30 and 250.22, getting closer. We might get a run on the stops before we even get to the open on Netflix, but it's all over the place for the time being.
All right, a number of little tiny ones to consider this morning as well. We mentioned this SEV throughout the day yesterday, just went absolutely parabolic up to 8.5, doubling essentially on the day. Back to the downside today, but still very active in the pre-market. There's also ALVR to watch this morning, VERU as well, pretty active here once again this morning, so we'll keep an eye on some of the small caps. Let's maybe Arun get a check of the overall market here and let everyone know what we need to be aware of as far as levels are concerned as we take out day highs or session highs right now.
Yeah, I'm talking about this as Netflix is approaching that 250. Come on, Netflix, let's take that 250 out so I can cash something out. We're hitting on 250 on the bid right now, so we'll see if we can get going through there. For now, it's a 70-cent winner, but I mean, that's a lot to say in this kind of market. All right, back to futures. Mike Rehan asking, he was long 65. That's a stellar long. I was actually looking in the 60s as well. Initially, because for me, that 65 level was the area that we needed to clear to the upside for us to get going. So that was that red line right there. That's gone. That's out the door. So now we're clear to the upside until we hit about 90, at which point we run into resistance again. So I wasn't going to get aggressive to the long side if I couldn't get in those 60s, those mid 60s. Obviously, I came a little bit late. I sat in around about 8 o'clock or so. We were in the 70s by the time that came around. So I'm looking for, again, 60s, low 60s preferably against the 20 as a stop, upside bias or alongside bias. See if we can get something back inside this zone here. I'd prefer the buy zone. Remember, initially we were looking at this as a sell zone. That's broken. We're going to use this as a potential buy zone on the way down in the event that it does come down. There's a chance that it does come down because of where we are. There is a decent amount of resistance here in the next 10 points, or at least in the next 10 points we start beginning the area where there's going to be resistance. So if we were to come down, I would need it to come down at least 20 points for me to get into a long. That's my whole thing. I've got one long that's out right now on PG. I don't know what PG is doing in the pre-market, but the spreads are all over the place. And then I've got a ton of bids out, but all of them factoring in a move coming down first. I need this market to come down so I can catch bids, and then we can get going to the upside. I am not willing to chase this to the upside because this market does have space to the upside, but the risk is the issue at this point. If you price in longs at 80 or even, like Mike, you got a stellar price in the mid 60s. If you price it anywhere higher, the risk is absolutely nuts because you got to use that 20 as your stop, right? So at what point do you cut off the trade? For me, 40 points. I don't go any higher than 40 points in terms of risk per contract. So for me, it has to be 60-ish or lower. So I can average it inside that range, but it does need to come down for these longs to work out or make sense from the risk profile. Of course, we continue on through these 90s and we get a decent setup somewhere up top. We can maybe look for a short here against the 45.30. That's the secondary option as well. So for the time being, it's not in a location where we can either go for a long or even look for shorts. But if it comes down, there could be longs. If it continues up and starts to fade out, then we can maybe go on the short side as well and work it back down towards those 60s. So a couple options there, depending on how this market wants to open. With the way that things are moving right now, it does look like it wants to carry some momentum to the upside. So maybe it's going to continue on going. But we've got our levels. We know what we want to do in the event, either up or down. We know what we want to do. So we'll just wait for this one to play out, and then we can jump on board.
We saw Bitcoin and some of the crypto markets back in positive territory this morning, guys. I just saw Coinbase popping up on the volume scanner. On this note, so they've launched now officially their NFT marketplace. So Coinbase just starting to go here, 2.7%, but decent volume spike through 155 for coin.
Yeah, it's actually funny because Bitcoin right now looking really nice. I mean, if Bitcoin can break above, right now it's a nice little move up here. This is just a 1 hour chart. We talked about it trying to break above this 41.5 yesterday, and that happened. So it's happening right now, and it's leveling out there at that 41.5, and now starting to go back to the upside. If we take out here on Bitcoin, like if we can hold this 42 and then start to level up, and then you'd be surprised. I mean, I don't have to tell you guys this as traders, but you take down this 44,000 here on Bitcoin, and it is off to the races. That is very, very possible to come into play today. And if that does happen, you see, first of all, I am waiting for Netflix to go short that 250. I'm with you on that. I know you're already short, Arun, but I'm with you on that call. That's another one that's off the sticky note there, the 250. We have 256 to the long side. I said yesterday that I wouldn't get into anything in the pre-market because plug yesterday went right down to my level, got me out, and then ripped right back up the rest of the whole day there, so I don't want to do that. But Coinbase, a nice little base down there. For me, this is performing really horribly. Coinbase came out at what, 250 last year? Let's see if it gets going. Now I'm going to have to zoom this back out. But Coinbase has been cut in half, essentially. They came out, I believe, this was their IPO day there, right there. I don't think we came out at 340. I feel like that's not the right price. But there's the rip up there, up to 420. I also don't believe that's the right price either. But a nice move there for Coinbase. Now look, it's just all the way to the downside. It's actually been performing much weaker than coins themselves. Obviously, there's going to be some coins that are outperforming, some coins that are underperforming. But as far as if you just held Bitcoin and Coinbase, if you held both of those on their IPO, you're actually doing slightly better holding Bitcoin. So now, though, I feel like there is somewhat of a match to the price. As Coinbase starts to go back upside, you see Bitcoin, it's the other way around. As Bitcoin goes up, Coinbase starts to float up a little bit here. I'm already in the stock. I was lucky enough to get out at that 360 level there for Coinbase. So that's something that I'm looking at there. That's why I think 350 was the highest Coinbase ever got. But over the last couple of days, it's been performing pretty well. I mean, you had a 145 base yesterday, a nice little move back down into this 150, and now you get a nice little bump up. For me, I'd rather hold and or trade the actual Bitcoin itself. But for Coinbase, a couple good opportunities there today on any dip buys, especially, whoops, I needed that 20-minute chart. Especially if we get going here on there, you got to break this level right there, 156. And then if you just level it up just a little bit more, then that's when you're at 158. And then to get above this 162, you're going to need that 44,000 break, I believe, in Bitcoin. So I'm looking at this thing about $1 higher than where we are right now. 156 goes back to April 11th there, goes back to last week when we had some tops. So nice little flush out bottom. Now we're on our way back for Coinbase. So if you like it, I think you can take the 156 breakout.
You talked about Coinbase. I just want to talk about one position I had, PG. I never got a chance to actually explain that trade. So in the pre-market, that's a pre-market loser, by the way. I'm out of this one. I don't even know what PG was doing at this point. So PG, the play was, if we can get above 162, I'd like to get in on the buy side. So I had my longs in there around 161. We were trading north of 162 in the pre-market. So I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. It looks pretty good, decent volume or decent pre-market activity. So decided to go for the long here right around that 161. And then all of a sudden the bid start, the spread on PG at one point was $2. I was like, what? Why is the spread on PG $2? Anyways, it fell through the area that I wanted to get out. I mean, you see me get the exit here. It's just, PG became more of a mess than I thought it would be because it was PG. I'm like, this should be somewhat stable. No, apparently PG's got something going on because right now, even now, it's a 56-cent spread. It's traded 200K on the pre-market, but still. Anyways, 161 long, 159 exit. I got out clearly south of 159, so that's a pre-market loser, but surprising that PG is opening up like this. Yeah, they had earnings this morning, but unusual for it to have a $2 spread. Anyways, that was a read. The daily read did fail. That's making me think that this could be actually a short now. Let's see how it opens up. If there's a open south of 160, I might actually go back in on the short side of PG. And we're still holding on to this Netflix here. I don't know what happened. We got to 250 exactly. We caught a bid and we decided to pop $1. But that's the volatility that comes with Netflix nowadays.
All right, 20 minutes to go here. Let's jump into everything else we need to know heading towards the open this morning. That's the link to the watch list, guys. We send it out every morning before we come on at 8:30. Miss V will have that in the chat for you if you do need it. We've talked obviously about Netflix in depth here, guys, but final thoughts maybe as far as how to approach this at the open this morning.
For Netflix, J&J reports. I think we got the wrong run. Is that the right run? That's not the right run. No, that's yesterday. I was wondering if that was going out to all you guys, public out there. Look, someone said in the chat that, like, yo, Sean, the market's not bullish. I don't think the market is bullish. I think it's actually quite bearish right now. We do have the first week of May coming with another. Here we go. Now Netflix starting to get just a little bit of volume just picked up right there on Netflix. It seemed like anyways, trying to test that 251 one more time there. I do got to clean up this wick so we can look at it a little bit there. But just bear with me as I do that. But I don't think the market is bearish or bullish whatsoever, guys. What I'm thinking is that you could get almost like a bear trap bull run type of thing here where, you know, you're just going to get the market's just been so beat down over the last little while. And now you get, you know, good news from the chip sector. You know, you're going to hopefully get a good report coming from Microsoft. Here we go, going to break 250 right now. We are going to get short if it does break through 250. But that's my sort of my plan there for Netflix. Here it is.
There we go.
Look at 250. There's 250 right there. It's going to break for sure.
Isn't it?
Is it?
Iceberg.
Is it iceberg? Yeah, a little bit of an iceberg order right there as 250 held. You saw it get hit. You saw all the lit. It's still going to go down. Don't worry. But you saw all the lit markets get taken out there, and then the dark pools didn't even let that thing get to 299. You saw 249.99. You saw that on the bid there. But here we go again. See, this is what I mean. They're going to take it out now. I don't think those dark pools will hold this. But my play is a breakthrough 250. We'll hold that short. We'll see if we get that flush from the open. And then honestly, I think this is worth holding up to that 256 level that we talked about earlier, which is right here. Here's 255 coming into play. It's 255.70, 255.80. Here it is again. There it is. So now we're short. Okay. So now we're short Netflix. Floodgates open up. We got 249.70. So the short is now in. So we'll hit the sire. And I know Arun's already got that short. I wanted to wait for 249 to break, or 250 to break. Now let's go to the downside, taking down 249.70. And look, I don't know where Netflix goes from here. This is a new territory. We've already brought it up to you on the daily chart. I mean, it's an absolute disaster to the downside. The only real support for me was going to be at that 236, 234, something like that as we pulled back the daily chart. And you're just going to have to wait for that to come through. There's that last time. There's 230. This is what we talked about before. And here's 252. So the last break was 252. We held that. Right now, we're below that level. So, hey, if you're going to remain a bear on this name, you got to try to hold through some of these shorts. It's just bouncing around 250 right now. There's really is no downside to this name. So who knows where we're going to go from here? I just think it's a hold. Let's hold this thing until we break at least the pre-market high of 256, which I thought was going to be a trigger for the long. But right now, we'll hold this. We'll see where we go. I don't know. I'm excited for the short. Let's just see where it prints. A quick look at the imbalance locator, though. There's no NASDAQ on here. The NASDAQ doesn't come. It's only 910. It's only 910 right now. So you don't see too many names on here that we're actually looking at right now. Disney's there as a small sell. And you can see Disney's already starting to creep back up, guys. We started the show, you know, part of the hot take was Disney long, and it's not even a hot take, but I like through 127 for Disney long. Even though Netflix is starting to break right now, you see Disney kind of was going the other way and now pulling back in. So on any Netflix weakness, I feel like Disney's going to be weak, which could give us a great opportunity to buy Netflix down here at that 125 or so, or sorry, Disney down here at that 125 area. Twitter, we haven't even talked about. That's a small buy as well, hitting 46.50. We saw some nasty moves in Twitter yesterday. But yeah, right now, the imbalance locator, pretty bland, I guess. There are some good names on here, but the size isn't much to be worried about. There's Palantir as well, trying to take down 13. So we have some Palantir talk on an upgrade. So that's my play there for Netflix. I know you probably have a similar one. I don't know where do you want to discuss it?
Yeah, we'll talk about Netflix for me. For me, it was, again, this is not a position trade. This is me scalping. I don't do this often. So for me, I just thought that 250 stops would be a great idea to go against. We were working 251s. I got 250.95. I actually got some out, by the way. I'm not. Yeah, you guys can see that there. I'm not actually just holding on to this for the sake of actually looking for an extension. I actually got some out right at 250. I'm like, I'm good. Let me cut some risk on this trade, make my dollar here on that short, and in the event it snaps back, I can walk away flat on Netflix. If it extends, hey, more money for me. But if it snaps back, that's what I worry about, right? The false breakthrough for 250 snapping back. So we're going to wait on that one. And you may see Zoom pop up on my chart there. I've got a 110.13 average price. Ignore that. I've got 6 shares. That's all I got filled for. So I am not positioned at all.
What
I've got
stock?
Zoom. Or ZM. I've got 6 total shares, and that's what, there's next to no volume on that thing. So yeah, until I get filled on the rest of it, that's it doesn't really matter a whole lot at the moment. So we're gonna wait on that one. Maybe we get the rest, maybe we don't. But again, we're gonna average this one in. But for the time being, 6 shares on Zoom. Ms. V.
Yeah, let's go to Ms. V.
Hey guys, 17 minutes left until the open, and I know you will be very busy, so remind you to like this video right now and help us get at least 1,000 likes. Brandon?
Let's continue along. Streaming troubles or just Netflix troubles? That was the question we were wondering this morning, guys. Is there a trade if you look at Roku? Is there a trade if you look at Disney? There's Paramount. There's a whole wide range, even Spotify, as we said, to the downside today.
Spotify, Roku, yeah. I mean, some of these streaming names, I'm sitting still with Netflix, and people said that, yeah, Arun, I'm rubbing off a little bit on you because you did scalp a little bit of that.
Oh,
Netflix
that was
trade.
just,
So
that's Netflix one time only.
one time only.
That
Okay,
kind of
that's good.
situation I'll jump
Still-
into, but I'm not positioning anything else.
And you mentioned people want to know you're out, so you're out is 251 because you said if it goes back out, you're out.
252.
252. Okay, yeah, right. To give yourself $1 each way. So there you go, guys, for that little quick update. And I think, Lucas, my iPad might be working now, but I don't know if it's logging me in here to that. Yeah, look, I haven't even looked anywhere else. I mean, there's Roku, obviously. There was a nice run into yesterday. I don't. You know, again, like if you're going to look somewhere today, I just feel like the best place to look is just going to be Netflix and or Disney. But this is a nice move down. If you want to try to pick something up on weakness, I mean, why did Roku go up 10% yesterday, right? I mean, so there is some buyers here in Roku, so I feel like that's a good thing. But, you know, today, you're going to get Roku on a discount. If you liked it yesterday, I don't see why you wouldn't like it today. I mean, sure, people are cutting the cord and things like that, but Roku has, you know, their ability to hold these customers. And cord cutting is good for Roku. We talked about people, especially in this inflationary period, possibly cutting their most expensive cable, which would be the legacy systems, as far as I know anyways. So I don't mind Roku at these levels. I mean, on a daily chart, and again, this is not, you know, like people are going to at me again, like, oh, like, how do you think Roku's a buy? I mean, look at this. I don't think Roku's necessarily a buy, but at some point, you're going to get some of these bottoms that just keep getting respected. It's the same reason why at Rivian, what was it, 37 or whatever that price was, that I was like, maybe we buy this. The next day it was at 40. So, I mean, it's just a matter of, you know, trying to pick up weakness here on names that have some kind of strength to them. And yesterday, Roku definitely showed us that. And again, you got to go all the way back. This is March of 2020. Roku went up to $500. Now it's back down to 100. Obviously, some mispricing happening here. Whether or not the mispricing is up there or the mispricing is down here, we're going to find out. But obviously up there was not a good level for Roku. But I don't know. Yesterday, a monster run up. Today, why not? We could see that again. The NASDAQ's going to float near zero again. I don't think we test 14,000. We're obviously at 14.2 right now. But I don't mind Roku down here at some of these bottoms. And I think if you're lucky enough to get it at this 106, 107 on a Netflix flush, then yeah, maybe you're into something here with Roku. So I don't mind the long. You had a good trade in that yesterday. So I feel like Roku's safe in this environment, but who knows?
Yeah, for me, my streaming choice or stock of choice is going to be Disney. It's Disney I'm going to work with just because of the technicals here. I just like the way it's playing through these 130s. Yesterday was an issue. We actually snapped back from underneath. And I was wondering whether we were actually going to hold these 130s or not. Because on the way up, I was like, man, there's a good chance that this actually fails through 130, 131. No, it caught a bid. It kept going too. So the fact that we're back down in that same area and we caught a bid yesterday through that 130 area, if we can get north of 127, I would like to see 130 to the upside, just because of the fact that maybe my whole thing with Netflix is, yeah, Disney's underneath that area, but at the same time, my whole thing with Netflix is someone picked up the subscribers. Who picked up the subscribers? Because you know, people are going from one to the next. It's not like not everyone is just saying, I'm going to walk away from this and pirating everything, right? So someone picked up some subscribers. So I'm thinking, hey, it's either going to be Disney. Disney is the one that's in front of us. I mean, what are your options? Disney, Discovery Plus, and then I don't know how many people have Discovery Plus, and then you have Peacock, which isn't available everywhere either. So Disney available everywhere. I figured that's the next big name. So I'll play 127 long, see if we can get back towards those 130s, and then work with the daily to get that long going. Futures supporting that read too, so I'll stick with it as Netflix is now $2 in the money and looking at the next even dollar break to the downside as it takes out 249.
There was a ton of strength yesterday in chip makers right across the board. AMD, NVIDIA, Intel even was positive by the end of the day. Same story here this morning, or setting up in a similar fashion here. AMAT, I just brought up 2.75% here for AMAT. There's ASML. There's take your pick, guys. What do we do with the chip stocks today?
Yeah, so I wrote down here on the sticky note that I was wanting to really look at NVIDIA today. Normally it is AMD. I saw that AMD got that downgrade, so we'll stay away from that temporarily. But here's NVIDIA. I wrote down here 228. It's been a top last week with chip strength yesterday, today, the day before. So we're going to look for a follow through here. Yeah, as there goes Netflix. Nicely done here. $1 in the money. Again, off the sticky note, man. We talked about that 250 break, and there it goes. Here's the 20-minute for Netflix, or for Netflix, oh man, for NVIDIA right here. Here's 228. So I don't know. Let's see if it holds that level. I want to go long through it. You're still $4 away. So, you know, the market still needs to get going into this level. But I think a 228 break gets us into this level, 235 or so. So, I don't know. I'll try to channel some of my inner Arun on this one. See if we get that break and then try to hold it. So 228 or so. We'll see about that level. It's been a nice little move up the last couple of days. You know, again, a lot of NASDAQ and a lot of NVIDIA is going to have to be based on where we exactly trade for the NQs, right? And so NVIDIA right here, what a great bottom. This is why I feel like instead of saying, you know, I like NVIDIA better than AMD, I like Intel, I like AMAT, as you brought up. You know, you can take that SMH or SOX as an ETF and take those instead of the individual stock, but you're going to get better return if you take the stock, right? I like 210 down here for support. So if you're looking at NVIDIA, maybe we climb. I don't see a disastrous report coming from these guys again, but who knows, man? I mean, chips have been getting beat down a little bit here as a lot of people have bought, you know, what they're looking for. They've upgraded already. Their chips coming out at crazy prices. I still feel like they're hard to get, but I looking at this 228 for strength in NVIDIA. If we get a pull back down to around 220, I think that can be picked up as well. So we're looking at a 220 bid and a 228 break through long. So we'll look at that. But honestly, off the open with only 10 minutes to go now, I feel like Palantir, Disney, and Netflix are names that I'm much more excited about, and Facebook. But if you take down this 228, I think that's definitely worth watching here for NVIDIA.
Yeah, and for my chip choice, it's going to be Micron. MU to the up. It's moving to the upside. I mean, it's at 73.71, so it works here. It's $1 higher from where it closed, but at the same time, it's in a huge congestion area that could easily let this thing fail through the downside. So here we are, as we're moving up through these 74s into 76s, I'm looking for a fade on Micron, specifically Micron. Now, I don't know about all the other chip names. I haven't gone through those. I'm sure I have alerts out. I can't remember them all, but Micron specifically looking for a fade here against that 76 area. As long as we can kind of start to stall out inside of this area, then the short's good. If we're going to continue kind of just drifting up, then I don't want any part of this, but we are going to look at Micron. My choice for today for the trade is going to be Micron potential short south of 76. If 76 goes, walk away. It's all conditional, right? It depends entirely on how we open and how we move after the open.
To Meta, we touched on it briefly there. Let's do both. Why not? Let's talk about Meta. There's also Lululemon, guys, out with a pretty impressive forecast this morning going through to 2026. They're talking about a 15% compounding revenue growth rate through to 2026 for Lulu. So it was higher pre-market. Obviously, Meta on the Citigroup upgrade as well.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday we traded Facebook a lot, and it was one of my better stocks, obviously, yesterday. Taking the long early and riding it pretty much the whole way, and then buying this dip. We talked about this early. Again, we had this whole trade yesterday, so it was a good one for us for sure. And again today, I mean, as the NASDAQ falls, so are these names. So I feel like Arun and I are going to say the same thing a lot of the time here because we have to wait to see how this market opens up. I like this 216.50 level for Facebook. I feel like it was defended yesterday. It had an opportunity to drop right there. It didn't. It had an opportunity there as well. It came off 217.50 straight down $1, stopped, and then ripped up another $2 into the close. So I feel like there is strength coming into Facebook. But again, today, look where we are. The market right now, NASDAQ holding up and Facebook is down 1.29%. So we could be off on this. Like, why is it down on an upgrade? So, that, you know, possibly feeling some ways from the NASDAQ pressure and feeling some ways from Netflix here coming back in. So we may have to look to pick up something on the cheap here for Facebook. And then honestly, yesterday was such a big day to the upside. I don't know if we flush back into here, but I said patience has been key, right? So if we do, I'm going to put it right now, 212. Like if we get a 212 bid, which we could easily get, man, it's 214 right now. So this is not crazy talk that we do come and revisit some of these levels. I think that you have the strength from that Citigroup call. And then if you take a 212, you should be able to hold it, hopefully, if you don't have too many shares, back down to this 209. So let's wait to see if that comes through. But I don't mind starting this position here and around 212. And then honestly, if we have to go a little bit YOLO down here, then I feel like this 210, 209 area is a good spot to do that for us right here. But that's my call on Facebook. I like the Lululemon call. We've talked about that. I said even that on earnings that I like Lulu. And then now today, we only have we actually have a little bit of time left here. 409, 410. Obviously too early to get into this name right now as you have a $3 spread, but a nice move up to 416 and now a pull back in. So Lululemon already, this should be the daily chart. Already broken out here. They had that nice bottom. Similar to Nike, I think. Nike's been getting a couple upgrades lately as well. I like the retail spot. There's a nice call. I think Lulu retests 500. Not anytime soon, but definitely by the end of the summer, you could get back up here. That's a good aggressive upgrade for them. Forecast for those guys. Netflix just ticked down to how low did it go there? My charts are all messed up. We went as low as 248.25 or so. I guess there it is right there, 248.28. So that was $2 in the money. We might put a piece out in case it comes back down to 248 and then hold the rest for that ultimate flush. I still feel like there could be some buying coming into this name. I'm pretty happy holding this, but right now Netflix bouncing off that 248.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch Netflix. I'm not a fan of trading. I've got too many names already, and Netflix isn't like the best quality setup for me, so I'm not going to touch that. But I'm just looking at PG going, really though? Like you had to do this? Look at the PG move. Like, yeah, that's your in, that's your out, and then a PG in the pre-market snaps back in after closing the spread now. Now the spread's only 30 cents, apart from, for being $2 now. Man, okay, it's still good. I just don't want to pay up here into the 160s now after having gotten out south of 159 because the read was bad. I don't know. I'm going to keep an eye on PG. There might be a re-entry available in the event that we come back down into the 159s, but I might do that depending on how we open, but I'm not paying up north of 161 because that read actually still could be good. Disney, looking at that 127, that could be a long that sets up as well. As you can see on my board, I've got some more shares of Zoom now, Anthem and ANTM, both long, and then Netflix on the short side. We're gonna, again, Netflix is the one I'm gonna watch right into the open because if we start looking at 250 on the open, I'm worried about a snapback rally or a failed move through 250 that snaps right back to the upside. So I'm watching out for that, see if I can damage control. I'm gonna make money on it, but see if I can maximize how much I can potentially make in the event that were to happen. Brendan.
All right, a number of little ones, small cap stocks to deal with this morning as well. There's Westwater Resources, WWR, WINT up on some news as well. There's this one, as I mentioned from yesterday, SEV, just an absolute monster run to 850. Bit of a wide range. It is trading quite thinly right now. That is 780, which was a bit of a pivot late in the day yesterday. And then above that, there's not much until 850. So SEV, worth a note today, guys.
Yeah, some good, okay, here goes Netflix to the downside right there. And, shout out to everybody in the chat. We love everybody here, but I'm talking up my long-term positions. I mean, honestly, I own 30 stocks, of which some of them have gotten killed and some of them have done amazingly well. And, maybe when I sell Nucor, maybe that I'm down talking that name, right? Even though I still own it. So, I mean, guys, you gotta sort of differentiate between trading is what we're actually doing here, day trading, not holding positions overnight or anything. You gotta differentiate that between those positions and your longer term positions. I think it's quite frankly, not irresponsible, but if you're an investor right now, there are some names that are at some decent levels. And I can talk about healthcare and all that stuff. Like I bought Eli Lilly not too long ago, and that's been working out well. And on that note, there goes Netflix to the downside, breaking down. So we got this good short on right now, $2 plus in the money. Now accelerating $3.50 in the money now for this one. There goes Netflix, big move to the downside, 246. We are short 250 off the sticky note. There goes 245 on Netflix, 244. This is a big flush here. I am going to take this opportunity to get something out right there. Bang, right there, $6 winner. We'll hit the siren. Let's go, guys. There we go, Arun. So nice little move there. Did we get the bottom? I don't know, but there it is right there. 244.20 out right there for Netflix. So hit the sirens. That's a $5.50 winner right there for Netflix. So I like that trade, and this is why we're not looking at too many other things right now. Netflix, boom, nice little win there for us on that. So we're going to go 1 for 1 on that trade. And then here we go. Time for Sean to talk up his book again. But I like Palantir here. I haven't talked about this in a very, very long time. And again, it's just reason why. Upgrade today, plus you have this 1320 level that just goes all the way back to the beginning of April. So if we break out through that level, I like the long, but also, just for all you guys out there, this could be a great short as well. That's why we talk about key levels. Like if Palantir fades off here, this is going to be a good short. The problem is we missed this breakout long the other day through 1235, actually just yesterday, this bottom break. So I love that way better than I like this breakout. But hey, if you're going to play breakouts and you're going to play upgrades and downgrades, I think Palantir has to be on your mind. Quickly here with the imbalances, BAC, I don't see much else, man. There's not too many NASDAQ names. There's Palantir. I don't see Netflix on here. But Netflix, wow, crack city down to the downside right there.
Yeah, Netflix actually had a sell imbalance to come in. It was sell side about 80,000 shares. It's flipped over to a buy side now, but still it's paired 800,000 shares. So there is obviously an opening imbalance that's somewhat large relative to what Netflix is doing. So probably going to look for a 900,000 share open on Netflix as we get into the final 20 seconds. Netflix, $6 in the money on what we've got south of 251. We've got Anthem, we've got Zoom as well. Both of them are, again, out of the money, but spreads are high right now, or spreads are fairly large right now. Here we are in the final 8 seconds there, Sean. You've got the
yeah, we got the countdown already.
3, 2, and 1. There we go. What do we got?
All right, let's go. Netflix right now looking to bounce right back upside. So not right up to 250. I mean, it's just bouncing right now, so these levels are going to be nuts.
Surprising.
248, 247 coming through. So far a good take on that downside move there for NFLX. Right now, let's check out Disney quickly just to see what that's doing as the NASDAQ is starting to come to the downside. Disney not open yet, I don't think, on the New York. Oh, yes, it is. There's a big print there. So Disney now just flirting with that 126. We're actually waiting for that 125 level to get printed down here. Maybe think about a long for Disney, 124. Just got to make sure I have my bid out. I do. So right there for Disney, 124 low is what we're waiting for. Just trying to watch out to see what Netflix is doing.
Yeah, IBM on fire right now. I was looking at IBM at 134. And it just took off right off the open. Actually, before the open, IBM now sitting at 136, still at 135.50, but working around. So it's going to have a wide spread. We're not fully open yet. Anthem, Zoom still out of the money, roughly $1 or so. Netflix coming back in. I'm going to dump this one if we get back north of 350. We'll call it a day. We're going to wait for these ones. I've got a few more fills that I need. I've got JBHD, FedEx, all alerts have gone off to the upside. IBM I told you about, and Marvell north of 64 as well for alerts.
So right now, yeah, just going to check out Palantir. Yeah, Netflix is coming back up. Good take to get out of some of that one for sure. Now the NASDAQ's trying to rip. So, yeah, we got to go over to Palantir. It's trying to take out that 1320 right now. That's PLTR. I think like this should be a long. We'll see, though. I mean, we don't want to go too crazy on this one. It has to take out 1320. So I'm going to try to go 1321. We'll see about taking a couple shares on that break and just to see where we go from there. We do have a bid side here of 13, so we'll see about defending that level right now. But over to Netflix. Netflix still that 246, coming back down in. Oh, man, my chart right there. How high did we get there? Oh, we got almost back all the way to 250. So let's watch out for that Netflix. We're still waiting for that Disney long. Palantir's come back in a little bit, so we don't have to worry about that. And then I do have a bid right now on Facebook down here at that bottom of 212 again. Maybe we should start it at 213 though here for Facebook. I'm just a little bit worried as Netflix right here, man, just taking out these new lows right now. Bye-bye 244. Remember that 236, 234 area? I don't know if that's going to come into play, but we're holding this short here on Netflix.
Yeah, I just picked up some Docu longs here around 100, so we're going to go long on Docu. As well as it comes back down. Disney taking off through that 127. Okay, Disney.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, Disney took out that
127.
But again, we need to get some stability on Disney because of everything surrounding Netflix and the craziness that is Disney and all streaming services right now that are moving absolutely nuts. Disney, although working with 127, I'm going to wait a little bit on this one before I step in. So for now, we've got Netflix up $7.50. We got Anthem up $2. Now DocuSign out $1, and Zoom also ZM out $1 or so for the time being as Netflix accelerating now after taking a little look at that 248, accelerating to the downside. You guys can see it here. Oh, you guys can't actually see it on that chart, but it is accelerating now towards that 240. We're about $2 from that 240. See if we can't get going towards that level. Maybe, hey, if that's the next round number to break, stops are going off.
Yeah, we got 213. Well, we're looking at 213 here for Facebook. We have that long there. We're $7 in the money, obviously, on that call there for Netflix. So we'll wait to see as the NASDAQ is coming in right now. So we're going to have to sort of ease back on some of these ideas. The NASDAQ's about to turn red. So Facebook, this is a very, very small position for us right now on Facebook. We are looking at, again, some of those levels from yesterday here on FB. Down here near 211, 212. We do have some bids down there to see about getting longer. So hopefully, if the market does crack, that's some levels that we're looking at there. What about NVIDIA? Yeah, that's taken off to the upside. It does not take out that 228. We're going to wait for more lows coming here for NVIDIA. As there goes the market and there goes Netflix, man. $8 now in the money, man. A good trade for me here on Netflix. This is a one and done. I could be done right now for the rest of the day, but we'll still continue to trade as this market is starting to pick up a little bit here. Palantir now breaks lower. I mean, look at the NASDAQ just absolutely getting killed. This is why you play those levels. Remember I said again that 1320 could be a great fade, and that's exactly what happened. All the way back down now for PLTR, back into 1290 there, saying basically to Citigroup that was a BS upgrade there today. But again, it's just floating down with the market. I still like Palantir into these levels. We'll see if it can hold this 1285 or so, but PLTR right now coming back in.
Yeah, okay, we're at a Zoom, by the way. Zoom, that 110 long didn't work. We got through, it broke through that 108. We walked away from it. Take the $2 hit, walk away, call it a day. Because that read was meant to essentially play that morning consolidation around that 110, see if we can't get a hold. We couldn't get a hold, so we walked away from that. The one that I'm watching and I'm like going, really though? Like I talked about this earlier. I'm like, PG, why? Why did you have to do this? This is what PG did. 161 long, south of 159 exit. We're trading 162 now. And PG is looking pretty, too, to the upside.
What?
Damn it, PG. Always trying to make my life hard with these pre-market moves when the spreads open up. And at least Netflix is covering that loss, by the way. A $10.50 winner right now, as Netflix is looking at 240 evens. 240. Actually, are they going to take it? It's 240 half right now. I want to see what's on the bid at 240. I can't. I'm not going to go that far down. I actually don't have it. Okay, so Netflix working with those 240s. We've got Anthem up $3.41, DocuSign out $2, and then FedEx we just got into out 10 cents or so, as Netflix makes an attempt to bounce off those 240s and now working 242. As this market comes back in, I've got a couple more fills that I want, but still, that damn PG long that just snapped back against me, that one hurts a little bit. Brendan.
All kinds of strength in travel names yesterday, guys. The airlines, the first ones to pop up here so far this morning. Just saw Delta taking out 44 on volume there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row now to the upside for Delta.
Okay, for Delta, 7 days in a row. Yeah, they had a great earnings report, obviously, there as well. Okay, so although our Netflix is doing quite well right now, we did punch back in, not back in, for the first time. I was like, okay, if we take 13 again on Palantir, let's try it. So we are stuck long right now, Palantir 13. So that's going to be, well, it's 13.01. We took the 01 break. How did I get 02s there? I don't know. Anyways, okay. So we're stuck long on Palantir. I guess 13.0150 there. I don't know what shows up on your screen. But we're going to see about getting some out if it does rip back up to the upside here for PLTR. But that's one position that we're in. And I'm just going to use this day bottom as my out, man. If we break that back down below 1290, we don't need to, there's no point. We don't need to sit here and hold this name if it's not going to work for us. And then we have another position on board right now. And this is one that's going to get real spicy. Again, this take was nothing. You're seeing my average price right now, 211.85. So, that's really where we're at. Let's see what happens here with Facebook. We talked about this yesterday. I'm not even going to zoom out that much here. We're just going to try to use yesterday's bottoms. It coincides with the day before's close. So that's 209.50, right? We did get as low as 209 yesterday. So if we break below some of these levels, then that's where we really got to start to lighten up these positions for Facebook. So right now, we're not in a big one, but I am going long here. It looks like the short came in today on this Netflix report. So yeah, we're going to have to hold out and try to get this after. Yeah, big tank after the bell here, as you guys are saying right there. We'll check out Roblox. You guys want us to look at Roblox? We will have a look at that. Wow, Roblox down 9%. And again, maybe something to do with, I don't know, Why would that have to do anything to do with Netflix? I was going to think about that with Roblox and Netflix, but maybe you guys could tell me, a smarter man than me. RBL, maybe you can look at this, Brendan. Maybe they got downgraded or something, but that's a good call by whoever that was there. What's up, Jason? Down. Roblox getting cracked, down 9% right now. I think this is a buy at these levels, but again, you know, I'm bullish, as you guys know, so we'll have to see what happens here. But 39, if we could take 39 back on the upside there for Roblox, I kind of like that trade. So right now, Roblox, yeah, downside here, big time movement. I think we're
240 on Netflix.
We must have been missing something. There goes 240 on Netflix, $10 in the money.
Yep. Okay, last time I'm going to rant about this and I'm going to let it go. PG now north of 163 at 163.5. Thanks, PG. That was $2.50 that could have made instead I lost like $2 and change. All right, I'm done with that. We're going to move on for that one. We've got Netflix up to $11, FedEx up 50 cents or so. Let me show you guys the FedEx position. Again, as this market was coming back down, I was picking up bids. So someone was asking, is it dip buy time? Well, it depends on where you're priced and depends on the stock. For me, some of these names came in and got me fills. I've still got a couple of names that never got filled because they didn't come down deep enough. But we got long on FedEx just in front of that 210. That's actually a ridiculous chart. That makes no sense. We did take a hit on Zoom, by the way, so that one's done. It was a $2 hit against that 110. FedEx, here we go. Let's actually show you the daily because that's the one that matters. FedEx is... Essentially, I'm just working this. The fact that we got north of 210, we've been kind of drifting. We've been pushing against this 210. We had a chance to resist and fall off a couple times. Never got it. As it got above 210, I'm like, you know what? That's good enough. That's worth a shot. Take that 210 long. The stop on FedEx is just south. It's $3 or so. So south of 207 and change. We should actually find support through underneath that 210. So if we can actually find a decent amount of stability there, this could get going to the upside. For the time being, though, it's only up 30 cents. We've still got Anthem. We've still got DAQ. DAQ's out 275, but again, DAQ is going to be an exit. It's also a tighter stop, I believe. It's like $3, I think, or so. $4 maybe. Maybe $1 more on DAQ before we leave DAQ. As you can see, I've been playing around some round numbers, looking for dips into those round numbers. Some of them worked out stellar. Netflix, hey, thank you for the scalp there, Netflix. Yeah. But then Anthem's somewhat flat, then DAQ's not helping out, FedEx is going, and some of them I just completely miss. So as I say that, Dash is now underneath 101, working 10100, and then Marvell is actually above that 64 area also. Those two alerts have just gone off.
Yeah, $12 now in the money for Netflix. But we did go to the downside there on Palantir. Luckily enough, we were able to scalp some out there when it went up to 06, 07, and 08. But again, off the long 0150 there, you do take that hit back to the upside. So we'll see. But again, the NASDAQ just continues to flush here pretty bad. So as Netflix is now a $12 winner, wow. I thought we were doing pretty good taking out 244 there. But still in this one, as Netflix still down to 237 and still making that move. We are getting ready. I mean, where's Facebook? Why am I not back into Facebook or more into Facebook right now? As it's just gotten killed down here to the downside. I'm waiting at... oops, I don't want to wait too many shares here. Yeah, 109 right here, 209.60 is where I'm at. So hopefully that does come in. What's the difference right now? I might just pump this up so we don't miss this bid. Here it comes right in. Are we going to get this? There it is. Yeah, so we did get it. So now we have a full position. I'm just going to wait till 208 breaks here on Facebook, but it looks like it's going to break right away. Look at the 20-minute chart. It's this level right down there. Facebook today, like what is Citigroup doing, man? Today they upgrade this name and then it just gets clocked out like this. So we're going to wait to see now. This 208.50, man, this market is really starting to heat up to the downside. Do you have any futures positions on or anything? Not yet. Not yet. Okay, so we'll look for that. But right now, Palantir still battling around that 88. It seems I want to go long this name, but I can't get into it now. The market is really cranking downside. PayPal, another name getting killed today. What is going on? This is definitely a risk-off day, man. They do not want to hold anything tech today at all. PayPal down to $97. This might be, how low did PayPal even get? This might be pretty close to one of their lows. I see 94 maybe. Oh, there it is right there. Yeah, 92 for PayPal. So you're getting close to that again. $97. PayPal getting cracked to the downside. And then, yeah, down goes Facebook, man. This name keeps getting worse and worse and worse. So we'll see what happens here. Netflix now down 32%, breaking down through 240. Yeah,
and as the market comes down, a lot of the dip buys that I've been doing have been, some of them have just been getting run over, specifically DAQ, PG, and Zoom. Well, PG was a mess, but Docu and Zoom got absolutely run over as the market just nonstop to the downside. PG, well, obviously, I ranted about that one enough. But for the time being, everything else seems somewhat stable. FedEx is stable. We just got into Marvell. Obviously, it's going to be, you need something like this. If you want to go shopping, you're going to have to sit in the face of this, and you have to give it some space. So I am looking for these low 60s for potential futures trades. FedEx is coming through back through these 211s now. That could be a problem as well. If this market fully rotates on me, I'm so screwed. Good thing I at least have Netflix on the short side, but it ain't going to be pretty look if this market does not hold any of these support points. But we should have some support in the 60s. That's what I'm banking on here for these longs, right? So that's the only reason I'm stepping into these longs is based on the support level. Clearly, I stepped in a little bit too early and gave up the one that actually would have taken off the open in PG. Brendan.
It took a while to find, guys. It was kind of buried, but Roblox downgraded today by Goldman Sachs to a sell from a neutral. So that was the only real negative note I saw. There was also a couple, 2 or 3 positive notes in the same sense, but Goldman, the biggest name, again, with the downgrade for Roblox.
Okay, wow. So right now, man, Facebook is getting close to just getting out of this trade. I don't see any relief here in the NASDAQ, man. So this is probably going to start to take, we're not even down that much today on the NASDAQ, right? You're only down that 0.6. So you can get a hell of a lot worse than where we are right now. And this does not bode well tomorrow for Tesla or for anything like that. I mean, Tesla today already below that 1020 that we talked about. Forget about the daily chart. Tesla today, look at Tesla. It's just like straight to the downside. So it's going to be hard to capture some wins here today if you're net long, that's for sure, which we are. Our NVIDIA just hit a level that I didn't think we'd hit today either. There's that 220 for NVIDIA. So yeah, we didn't, I actually had this bid just sitting there. So yeah, this name, first of all, Facebook's about to come out right now. So big hit here for Facebook as we break back below that 208. So there goes Facebook down to the downside right now, breaking lower, a little bit more, and we're out. There it is. Now we're out of that name. So that's a disastrous hit to the downside there for Facebook. No love whatsoever now. Don't tell me you're going to go back up now for Facebook, but we'll see here. The NASDAQ, I don't know, man. I said we could test that 14,000. You're back down to 14.1 right now. So that could be something there for Facebook if you are looking for a bounce. But there it is, man. The market trying to get going now. We're already into NVIDIA. This could be a nice winner, but down into that 220. I mean, we don't want to hold these all. This just came in real quick for us there on a nice move to the downside. So, wow, today definitely risk off. We'll hold NVIDIA in just to see, but this market is south side, man. We got to get something other than Netflix on board here because this is tank city right here.
Yeah, I'm going to stay on the opposite direction. The names that I've picked up on the long side, remember, I'm going shopping in this move to the downside. They're holding up pretty well. FedEx only down 30 cents. Marvell only down 30 cents. Anthem, because of the spread, down 283. Anthem's going to require a ton of space too because of, I'll just put it out there for you guys. There you go. That's what Anthem looks like. So it's going to require some decent amount of space. But I am looking at some names. One more name I'm trying to get my hands on is Goldman Sachs to the buy side. And then in a bit, I'll take a look at Marvell to the buy. Actually, no, not Marvell. JBHT to the buy and Lockheed to the short. So LMT to the short and then JBHT to the buy if we can actually get that. As I say that, Netflix cleared the big winner here. $15 in the money as it takes a look. Maybe we can take a look at that 235 again. I think the low here is 233.33 as the market continues its extension to the downside. So, okay, now we're entering some ranges that I want to work with. I just need to find some stability here to catch some longs here, catch some futures longs, by the way. When I go into the futures market, I didn't think we would get to this price. That's why I was working equities somewhat aggressively. But now that we've gotten to this price point into the low 60s, I can pull back on the equities, leave what I've got. I might still pull Lockheed on the short side just because I do actually like the way that the daily looks on Lockheed. But in terms of everything else, I probably won't, push too hard to go there and look for longs, potential long setups. That's what I need now. Potential long setups around these 60s for me to jump on board on these futures as Netflix. Taking a look at that 235 once again. Here we go, Netflix. Let's make this. What's the max potential we can get on this? Can we get? Let's just throw out some number. Can we get below 230 in the next 13 minutes before 10 o'clock? Let's just put some targets out there and just be like, you know what? That's good. I didn't think we'd get there, but we got there. So I'm going to say, hey, 230 in the next 13 minutes. That'd be a nice move on Netflix.
Yeah, this has been a great move on Netflix here. We still are into Nvidia right now. Yeah, I don't know, man. We're $16 in the money. I mean, you and I basically have the same trade here. This is just motoring right now to that downside. So wow. I know some of our longs haven't worked today, but some of the shorts definitely have. I'm in one more time into Facebook. It looks like we'll learn our lesson as it just took down the level again. I just didn't want that 208 to be that level, so we took it one more time, then took a 30-cent hit there, averaging back in 207.30, back outside. I don't want to miss the move back up, but it looks like there might not be one. NEO right now, down to 19 bucks. NIO down here to 19. So this is another level here where we could possibly get into some trades for NIO, as we already took down some key levels for NEO. We were looking at 20 bucks before. Now look at this, straight to the downside here and trying to maybe respect that bottom 1890. I wonder if these are the kind of names here as Netflix 233, man. You're going to get that number, by the way, of 230. Is that a target for you to get out? Or
No. That's just me saying, that'd be nice.
Just playing games. Yeah, okay. Same way, because I don't really have a target to get out here for that Netflix trade, as that seems to be just on absolute fire. We're glad we gave that to you on the sticky note, man, because that 250 short right now, like, to have not had that would have been like, wow, this day could have been infinitely worse because of Facebook, as that's now down to 206 right now. That long is getting absolutely killed. Palantir, one of the only names holding up. It actually just held up right there at 1275, maybe on a bounce. Maybe this is the name that we want to grab. Palantir still positive on the day, which is crazy. So this might be a name that we have to look at here, PLTR, on a bounce back to the north side if you're looking for a long, but there has to be better ones out there. Maybe the banks.
Yeah. Goldman, hey, Goldman, I'm waiting for you. I've got a bid out there. I'm waiting for you for that fill. With this market, it's, obviously it's not accelerating, but it just won't let up here. And it's dragging some names that I really thought would hold up a little bit better, that have been holding up fairly well. Anthem specifically has been holding up pretty well. And then now all of a sudden, now we lose Anthem south through that 520 area. Still not out, but again, it's not looking pretty. This market just needs to let up a little bit to give Anthem the space to bounce back. But for the time being, Anthem is being dragged down through these 520s, not looking too good. And we've FedEx holding out well, Marvell holding out well. There goes Anthem, by the way. We're out of Anthem. That's another hit there. Good thing we have Netflix. Netflix on a $17 winner for the time being, covering those hits there. Futures coming on board fairly soon. We're in that area that I need to work with. It's just a matter of getting that setup going. I've got a couple more offers that I want to throw out. I want to get short on Lockheed through those 258s through 260s, but I don't know if I can get those. We're trading at 254, by the way, so this is what Lockheed looks like. Off the daily, looks pretty solid. I actually like the Lockheed daily, but man, it is gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to get that move. It's a double top failure through 460. So if we can get going on that, finally we got some longs back in the money. All right, there goes FedEx, there goes Marvell. That's looking pretty. And now it's just a matter of using this bounce to get short on Lockheed, and then also JBHT. I'm gonna try to get my hands on the long side as well. I like the daily on JBHT. Around that 175. Let me see if I can get you guys a chart. Yeah, we're trading at 176, but see if we can actually get a move back towards 175. I don't want to price it higher than 175, so I'm going to wait down there, see if I can get it there. If I can't, I'll just let that one go. Again, I'm looking for futures positions now, so I'm not going to press too hard on the equity side. Brendan.
Something called Cleveland Research, guys, apparently circulating a negative note on Meta. So a heads up on Meta. Again, Cleveland Research out with a negative note for FB.
Okay, so that makes more sense now, why we kept getting clapped out of that position over and over again. And now finally, Facebook's starting to get some love down there at 206.50. But for right now, yeah, man, Netflix testing lower. Okay, so we did get some more Nvidia here, but again, like the market is tanking now, so we shouldn't even really be looking at these trades for the long side. But Nvidia coming into a spot one more time where, like, can it even hold this level? You know, we thought that the chips were strong again, but no, Nvidia is saying no thank you to that today again, as this market just keeps on fading out here. I don't even want to look at, like, I mean, maybe a stock like Rivian today, something like that could could be taken out. We talked about DraftKings yesterday. That's now down 7%. There's your Roku down 5% today. But Roku's kind of holding some of those levels like we talked about down there. Roku actually up. Like considering from the open, Roku's actually up. So if there was a name that could have some relative strength today, Roku might be one of those names. As guess what, man? $20 winner now for Netflix as that's approaching that 230 and looking mighty nasty down there exactly for that. So I don't know, man. Here comes Netflix taking down that 230. These were levels like, this is what I'm talking about. I think I'll probably go in there and start to buy Netflix now, down 34% on the day. Wow. And then, yeah, here we go again. NVIDIA down $1 on this position as well. Doesn't seem to want to work. Back down to 218.50. What's up, Brendan?
One you guys were looking at, I know, when I was away last week. Rite Aid just popping back up here, 5.8% on its way back to $8. There was obviously earnings last week, but some call volume, apparently, heavy call volume on RAD this morning.
Oh,
Rad.
man. Rad.
So rad.
What a rad stock that is. Yeah, they were going down. Yeah, I'm a little bit confused on my strategy as well there, Sheriff Gobriel, for my strategy on Facebook. I mean, I'm out of it. So right now, I wasn't confused at all. I mean, I just, honestly, it was really, this was my big position. You saw my average price was like 210.50, something like that. And then all of a sudden, you know, we take that hit back down there at 208. So we took a $2.50 hit there on Facebook. We got out of the way of it, so I'm pretty happy with that. But honestly, I mean, that was just a straight to the move to the downside. And when Brendan's talking there about Cleveland research, you know, circulating some negative notes, obviously that doesn't help. So didn't see that happening. And the reason why we were into that name again is that we had a monster winner yesterday on that, and we were basing it off of some of these longs that hit. You know, we had the bottom, the close 2 days ago on the 18th there, and then we had that 209 again. As yeah, there it is right there for Netflix. We can just go over to it. Yep. Me and Arun just sitting in this winner, man. What a great trade today. So dab it up here, Arun. Wait. Like there it is. Good trade there for Netflix as we're nicely in the money on this one, still making that move to the downside, and really no clear out for us in sight right now. There it goes to the downside. People are probably getting hella rich on Netflix, and I hope that someone is you. Good trade here, guys.
Yeah, Kevin, I see you, Kevin, in the chat rubbing it in. PG testing 164. I'm not even going to look at that anymore. I'm going to leave that one alone. I don't want to look at that one. That one got me this morning. The pre-market exit on PG. Okay, so we've got FedEx. We got 2 longs, 1 short. FedEx in the money, 52 cents. Marvell out 15 cents. And then you see Netflix here up $22 in the money and still going through 230. Now, we gave it 13 minutes to get to 230. Somebody said it'll get there in a minute. We were both wrong. It got there in 6 minutes. So, hey, you know what? Now what do we do? Now it's gone 230. My closest trail level is like $12 or $14 away from where we are now. I have no possibility of catching. There's no levels for me to work with. So all I can do at this point, and especially with the way it's moving so fast. There's nothing I can do. I can't step down. I can't, I can't trail it close by. There's nothing. It's just red, accelerated red. And for me right now, I'm just going to sit north of 240 on a trail. But again, at some point, I'm going to have to tighten up as the market takes another leg to the downside. For the time being, though, I'm going to, just wait a little bit here. Netflix has to give me some level where I can put the proper trail in. But it's still going. Hey, it's at 227 now. It's a $24 winner almost.
Yeah.
So, hey, let that one ride. Cover some hits from the morning because obviously we took some hits with the Anthem, the DocuSign, and then Stupid PG, and then Zoom as well. But Netflix covering those hits well. And the other ones, all I need them to do is just stay afloat. FedEx, JBHT, Marvell, stay afloat until we can get the bounce in on the futures. That's all I need. I don't need them to go in the money right now. They just need to withstand all this, turbulence in the market to the downside as we kind of get some bounces here and there. As long as they can just withstand it until we get a point where the market turns, I'm good with these positions. But until, if we lose momentum, then obviously I'm screwed here. But for the most part, we are 3 longs that are somewhat flat, 8 cents being the biggest loser, 33 cents being the biggest winner, and then Netflix still going now at 226. I would love to see what you guys think. Maybe this is an idea for a poll, Valeria, if you agree with this, is where will Netflix be by the time that Market Movers starts? Which would be like, what, noon, right? That gets rid of most of the morning volume. By the time we get to midday, it should slow down. You would think it should slow down, but that'd be a pretty cool guess, because at this point, I have absolutely no clue. Like, it's just going to be a shot in the dark here. Is it going to be 200? Is it going to be 220? Is it going to be 210? At this point, with $24.50 in the money, what do you do? What do you call? You just trail. In a position like this, that's this deep in the money, you just trail. Nothing else you can do except trail, because you have no targets left.
Oh, yeah, no, I think that'd be great. I mean, they've lost 60 billion in market cap right now, like on the day. 60 billion. Like, you want to talk about a PE right now? Like, I mean, maybe now it's finally getting to a spot where people want to buy it. No idea, but I'm with you, man. I have no idea where we're going to be buying this thing in the next hour or so. But okay, now Microsoft. We're loaded up in this name again. I mean, this has been strong today into a weak NASDAQ. Like, if this takes it down, then honestly, it is what it is at this point for me. And honestly, let's see if we get that NASDAQ bounce. I'm with you. I'm trying to like hide out in some names that I thought would be strong today, including Microsoft, up 0.3% right now. And the reason why we're into Microsoft, you still have yesterday's like nice bump ups here. The cloud working well, man. A lot of good reports coming out last night on cloud computing, and not just cloud computing, but just cloud itself. And they have Azure, big level there. Microsoft coming out next week. But if they're going to sell tech, like now Netflix is now down to 224. So, but this name, I'm not going to give this too much past 285.50. So if we break back down about $1 lower than where we are right now, see you later on Softy, and it'll be see you later to my account as well at that point. But right now we're just sitting on that $25 winner with Netflix. And honestly, I'm just sitting here with NVIDIA. Like, we do have some lower levels that we're looking out for here on NVIDIA, but this name also getting sour right here. So yeah, hide out in SARC. Yeah, you're right. Go over to some of those inverted Cathie Wood ETFs there, and then you can get that nice little hideout. But maybe it's in the banks, man. We talked about that earlier. Like, what sector is going up today? JP Morgan 132. Ooh, we like that name, up that 1%. That's a good name to trade. I mean, I'm long JP Morgan as well, but all the Cathie Wood names, man, today. Roku 8%, Clover even down, Netflix obviously down huge there. Today, IBM rocking to 135. That might be a good trade. NEO down through 1870 now, NEO. Square down 7%. Yeah, this market is definitely getting hit now to the downside, getting weaker and weaker, man. I got to find an out for this NVIDIA. There's no stopping these shorts, man.
I'm going to go in the opposite direction, actually. I'm going to go for some long.
I mean, I'm still going for longs.
I'm stepping into the futures on the long side.
Futures.
I'm starting to work into a position on the futures. See if I can't. Why are you moving so fast, man? What came out at 10 o'clock? Something came out at 10 o'clock. Let me figure that out. That's a news release. Until I figure what that was, if that's large enough to matter or not, maybe I'll pull the bid off a little bit. What do we get? Existing home sales. Okay. Don't really care about that.
Yeah, I know. What's up with that?
Okay, I'll wait a little bit more. Just let this settle down a little bit before I step in. But I am definitely looking to get into some futures here around these 60s. It's the area that I wanted to work with. And finally, we're getting a turn here. FedEx now $1.60 in the money, starting to go as this market stabilizes around these 60s. And JBHT 30 cents in the money, and Marvell flat. Brendan's at the big screen.
Yeah, it's actually better than expected on the existing home sales, guys. 2.7 versus 4.7 expected, but the annual number, 9.5%. So that was a big number overall. Here we go. Green numbers still right across the board. The S&P, the Dow, the Russell, trying to hang on. It is the NASDAQ that's lagging. I'll talk about that in a second. But S&P still hanging on positive. The Dow and the Russell also. NASDAQ Composite and the 100, both 0.8, 0.9 to the downside. So as we said, tech in trouble overall. TSX here in Toronto, 0.3 in negative territory as well. One of those days where, resource stocks even getting hit. So Netflix, the main story. We were wondering about Disney. We were wondering about a couple of these other ones. Para on the NASDAQ just made a day low there, back down to 32. There's also Tesla. Ugly so far. Yeah, big move down for Tesla going into earnings, 2.8% now on the negative side, guys.
And this is why you wait.
Man, yeah, I was going to say, like, now we're getting smoked on these longs. Like, Microsoft, though, nicely popped up, man. And Microsoft was a nice little take there. So we're happy with Microsoft. We got out some there as it popped to 287. Didn't get out enough. I actually just realized one of my keys that I just changed over was set to post only. So I tried to punch out and miss a couple levels there. But now we'll wait to see if Microsoft can get going back up to the upside. NVIDIA, by the way, now might finally be flushing. I don't know. You know, like, not finally be flushing, but I was thinking this, I was watching like just how this was starting to trade, and I'm just wondering if we're starting to now sort of pick up maybe to the upside a little bit here for Netflix. But I mean, that's a bold call. I don't want to say get out of your shorts here because, you know, I'm sitting in some dead longs myself. So I don't know. This name, I just thought that 222 might have been something down there, but here it comes right back to test that low one more time. So, I mean, that's just going to be pure nastiness right there. 222. Let's see if that can outtake some of those levels. But we were able to get out of a third of our Microsoft trade. Let's see if we can hold this and then see if it does eventually pop to the high side. But I mean, I thought my Facebook trade was getting nasty, but right now NVIDIA, just honestly, no bottom to NVIDIA as well. Down that 3%. It's getting worse and worse for me. What's up, Brendo?
Even some of the Chinese stocks in trouble, guys. Alibaba here down 2.25%, just trying to make day lows as well. This Pan Daily website reporting, yeah, their DAMO Academy division laying off 30% of their staff. So Alibaba under pressure as well.
Alibaba, yeah. Yeah, a lot of things. Wow, and there goes, I mean, we just talked about that Netflix, right? Yeah. It just took down the day low again. 221.50 now, the day low there for Netflix. So, yeah, things not going well for the streaming giant, which may not be no giant no more. What is Disney doing? We wanted to pick something up. Yeah, it's not doing anything. So Disney right now, you know, waiting to be woken up. But I don't know, like, do we even go long on Disney right now? Like, this has been a disaster here for the streaming services today, guys.
Yeah, Netflix is going to take a look at that 220s. So, hey, remember, the poll was, where's it going to be by noon? Not where it is now, because we still got 2 hours, and this thing is moving aggressively. And just because the momentum is to the downside right now doesn't mean that it's not going to, you know, turn around at some point. And this is quite aggressive. This is quite systematic as well. So, I mean, it's very unlikely that you see a move like this since the open. These are all 5-minute bars. They just, you know, every time we attempt to bounce, which within the 5-minute bar itself, and then we just get sold down and end up closing red. So we've got red bars. The last green bar came in at 9 o'clock, between 9 and 9:05, and now it's just been red since then. So accelerated move to the downside. We're sitting on a $29 winner as of right now. We're going to let that one play out. I'm not going to do anything else. FedEx is doing well. Marvell is flat, and I don't know what just happened with JBHT because they caught a sell wave here through that 175, so that one's out a buck or so. But again, I really, at this point, I'm more focused on, because of what Netflix is doing and covering the hits there elsewhere, I'm more focused on the futures and at what point can I catch a bid. Do I want to catch a bid? Yes. Do I want to catch it now? The answer is no. It's got way too much sell side strength, and you got to respect it. For the time being, it is sell side only, and maybe if we could get a somewhat of a setup that works out well, I'll step into the futures, but it does look like it's got way too much downside activity. It's stalling, but again, there's enough here to make me stall, you know, just pull back a little bit, say, not yet, not yet. I thought about 60s and then, you know, existing home sales, and I'm like, you know what, we're going to wait for this one to settle up a bit, and then we continued our move down. So I'm definitely going to be waiting a little bit more to get some clarity here before I decide to step in along. But that whole range, this whole range, that's where I'm open to the idea of getting along. It's just a matter of when does it happen, and does it actually happen? Because it could easily just kind of leak right through there, and we end up not taking the long at all. So we'll wait for this a little bit more before we get some clarity here and maybe step into the futures in a bit.
We're very close to getting out of our last piece here of NVIDIA. We should have just really stuck with Microsoft. Like picking up long stock, you know, when these names are just getting killed, doesn't really make any sense whatsoever. So we're going to regroup. Well, there's Tesla right now. Tesla breaks. We want to talk about picking up maybe strong stock right now. Not Tesla. Tesla almost looking like Netflix here. I mean, obviously, put another 3 in front of that. But downside right now, just no love whatsoever for Tesla to the downside. So when you're talking about NASDAQ weakness, man, I mean, some of these names just cannot get out of their own way, including Netflix, which Arun, yeah, We just took down 218
Yep.
right now for Netflix. So yeah, there's NVIDIA. NVIDIA comes out there breaking back down below. So we got out of more than half of that Netflix of this NVIDIA trade as it's falling apart as well to the downside. And this day just keeps on getting worse and worse for the longs, man. And the problem is that unless you started the short early or had like an inkling to this happening, it's like it's almost too late right now to get into some of these shorts, I feel like. But who knows, man? Like Arun's trying to hunt for some longs, so am I. Was that just possibly a bottom at 218 there? I mean, honestly, I don't know what's going to happen here. I might just take this out of a 220.50 breaks or so here on NFLX, and then just like work with what else we have. But Netflix coming back down to the downside one more time. So yeah, about that. Not much happening right here for these stocks. So NVIDIA to the downside. We got to try to pick up something long. Facebook is getting killed again, down 6%. Good thing we got out of that one as that just keeps on cratering back in right now. So it's really just about looking for some shorts. NVIDIA downside, Alibaba down to $90 today. Tesla down to 9. This is honestly, I don't know about what you're feeling here, and I don't know what any of you guys else are feeling, but this feels just like one of the worst days in the market, just because of every single name that I'm looking at is really getting killed here. But you got to look at Walmart's, you got to look at the retail. We talked about the banks being strong as well. So there is some love somewhere. We just got to find it. What's up, Ms. V?
Hey guys, we have more than 6,000 people watching, only 1,200 likes. So please, I know it's a very busy and tense day, but make sure you support the community and smash the like button. We're here for you every day, no matter what. And also guys, a lot of traders talk about that ALVR, which got positive FDA designation and up around 50% on the day. So maybe you can take a look at ALVR for us.
I mean, it's a rough day, but I don't think it's a rough day overall. I mean, we've definitely seen some worse days overall when the S&P and the NASDAQ are in the same direction. Right now, you've got the NASDAQ down 1.13%, S&P 0.07% to the downside. It's flat. So it's just tech just getting run over right now as people are rotating out of tech. Not rotating, but people are definitely moving out of some big names here in tech. Just a quick update, Apple flat, down 0.2, Microsoft up 0.26, top two big names in the indexes. Doesn't really matter, they're kind of doing their own thing. And then you got Amazon down 2.5, Facebook down 5.5, NVIDIA 2.6, Tesla down almost 3%, Google down 1.45, and then you got Adobe and then AVGO. AVGO is actually up on the day 1%. So it's just in specific names, not even everything. It's some names only. It's just from Amazon going all the way down to Adobe. Then I look over the S&P, and the only one that's down again today after being red or being the only red one yesterday in a sea of green is Pfizer again. Pfizer down 1.39%, but everything else doing just fine except for those big tech names here. Not even the biggest ones, but some of those big tech names that everyone's focusing on. Obviously, it makes sense that Netflix is down now, up $33 in the money. We picked up some Lockheed shorts, LMT, Micron shorts. That's out 10 cents or so. FedEx up $1.87 in the money. Marvell up 5 cents in the money. So FedEx, JBHT, and Marvell are longs. LMT, Micron, and Netflix are shorts. You guys can see it on the screen. And for the most part, they're all doing fine. And good thing we have Netflix because that is covering the hits from earlier losses in Anthem, Zoom, and DocuSign.
Yep.
One that made a bit of a move yesterday, some people talking about this LLAP satellite maker in the aerospace division just halted, guys, so up 53%. There was a Jefferies note, a positive note on this one out, I think it was actually aftermarket yesterday, but nice move here for LLAP.
Yeah, we also want to look at ALVR a little bit too. New position alert, and yeah, guess what? It's a long, like, one more time here, but Roblox is at 52-week lows, so it's at $36. That's its 52-week low, so we're going to go long in front of that, 36.13. It's now 30 cents or 20 cents in the money. Hopefully that can rally itself back to the upside, and we'll get that going as well. If Roblox wants to go great, honestly, like get this out for $1 would be great to the upside near $37. So we'll see if we can hold out for that play coming through. Like honestly, I've never Look, we've seen moves like this before, but this is epic, man. This move in Netflix, like, and I know sitting on your hands is a good strategy, but like this is really, really getting elevated now to the downside. And honestly, I don't know where we need to think about this now as a stock. And you don't need to think about it, I guess. Are we going to see two bills today? Like, this is absolutely unbelievable now for this move for Netflix. So, I mean, this is a $37 winner. Right now. So, I mean, we'll just hold on to that one. And yeah, like, I'm glad that you scalped some out there at 250, but same thing for me, man. I got out at 244 thinking that was pretty good. But you're getting a big move to the downside, and thank God we have this, like you said, clocking out some of the hits from before, making sure that we hold this short. So, yeah, good moves upside. We're going to wait to see if Microsoft can hold that 285.50. I would have averaged in, but again, like, there's only so much I can do on that. So now let's go upside here. We have Roblox 25 cents in the money. We have Microsoft, same thing. And then NVIDIA's trying to battle back a little bit, but we already took the hit there on NVIDIA. I'm thinking about going longer if we take out 217. So that's a level there for NVIDIA. I'm going to get some more out on Softy as we've retraced all the way back up.
I mean, at some point, Netflix has got to snap back. This is too systematic, which makes me think there's some definitely dumping going on. Like, some funds are definitely moving out of the way here, because this is way too systematic. Even if I were to put it on the 1-minute chart, you can't get this kind of angle. This kind of an angle, there's no way a human can do this. This is the amount of volume that's required to keep something moving at this angle to the downside. Yeah, that's systematic. That is not, someone wants out or multiple people want out and they're just hitting the bid every time it bounces up and then maybe offering on the way down as well. But there's definitely something going on here in terms of fund liquidation and Netflix as people move out of the way. For now, it's a $37 winner. But, you know, again, when you're this deep in the money, all you can do is trail, right? You have no targets left. So you just trail out. At what point, how far can this go before, you know, it invalidates the trend to the downside? I'm going to say somewhere around 230, so that means I'm giving it back another $16 to $17. But that's what's required in a market like this. You've got to know the nature of the symbol that you're playing, and Netflix clearly needs that volatility. So give it the space to move. If it wants to keep on going towards 200, we'll participate. If it breaks 230, we'll walk away, call it a day, take our $22 winner, and then move on. But for now, FedEx is going. We've got a Lockheed going. We've got Marvell finally moving. So other names are picking up the slack here when Netflix does decide to bounce. Brennan.
Yeah, pretty epic move so far. We were talking about oil, guys, up 1% pre-market. Oil just went negative on the day as well. Some of the oil services, specifically oil services companies, back to the downside again today. We talked about Halliburton a little bit yesterday being very positive out of the gate, up here to 42.5. We're right back down below that low from the pre-market. So even energy getting hit now.
Even energy today. Okay, so there's Netflix. I just want to look at it. You can also buy this in Canada on the CDR side of things. So right there, 880 and change downside move, just to give you guys a little bit of love there for Canada if you are looking at that as well. But okay, let's just go over to our Softy trade. Nice little win here for us. We did get more shares into NVIDIA. That's starting to go right now. And I'm debating right here just to cash out of this Netflix. It's a big win for us. We're coming back in right now. If we take down this 220, I think that might be enough. But this 212 area, if we revisit anywhere around there, I think it's worth it. I'm going to put a bid around 214.50. See about just ending that trade. If we get back down in there, we'll take that out. So that's what I'm looking for right now. The day's got infinitely better, but unfortunately, we did get out of some NVIDIA downside there. That was not a good trade. We'll see if it can retrace back upside, but I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth. We are 70 cents. What's up, Neil? We are 70 cents in the money right now on this trade for Softy. So we'll take another piece out right now as that's starting to work up to the upside. Roblox starting to work as well, and we're at the 50 mark for Roblox, so that could be something to look at here as well. So Roblox staring at that 36.50. Let's take a 30-cent win on this name, or 40 cents if we can get in and move on, at least for 20% of this trade. So Roblox working. We're battling back quite nicely here, guys.
Yeah, as the market bounces back, this is exactly what I want to see. Remember, I was looking for longs potentially in this 44.60 area. If we just needed to find some sort of a support base. I just, with Netflix doing what it was doing and some big tech names kind of continuing their direction to the downside with some aggression, I wanted some stability in the S&P. Even though S&P is still, S&P is actually up 0.06%. As long as we got some stability, we have a very good chance that it snaps back, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the longs. That's why I've been picking up longs as we dip down. Obviously, some of them didn't work out, but the ones that I'm sitting on right now, FedEx up $2.38, Marvell up 38 cents, JBHT flat. So we are waiting on some of these longs to get going to the upside. On the flip side, the shorts are doing just fine. Lockheed up $2.24. Am I worried about the market bouncing back up? No, because Lockheed, if you look at the daily on Lockheed, the setup is bigger than what it does today or what the market does today, because the daily just looks absolutely horrendous to the downside here. After double topping around that 470 into the 480, there's a ton of action to the upside, or a ton of resistance to the upside, and we had a chance to take it all out yesterday. And what does Lockheed do? Gets all the way up as high as 475 and then fails, completely fails when we had a chance to blow out some stops. This kind of U-turn up in that same range, that's why I'm confident about the Lockheed short, so I am going to stick with that one here, regardless of what the market wants to do, or regardless of what I want to do on the future side of things. But we are going to stick with Lockheed short. Force me out. That's kind of my take with a lot of these positions. This is my read. Force me out of it. Make me change my mind, right? And more often than not, that works out well. And then sometimes I get blown apart, and then sometimes I just get fooled, like made to look like an absolute fool. PG, I see you. I see you. I'm going to save you for the frustrating stock of the day, because I don't think I can be more frustrated than that with PG. So PG got me today. But everything else doing just fine. Lockheed up 228, FedEx up 244, JBHT up 14, Marvell up 47, and then Netflix up 32. So we're doing just fine. Now I'm going to pull back a little bit. Only one left, Zoom. Remember, we got run over on Zoom on the way down. We picked up 110 long, got out as it broke through that 108. Now, though, it's hitting the bottom end. I'm thinking 104 shorts. Is that a possibility? It depends entirely on whether I get into a futures position or not. If I do, I'm going to pass this one up. If I don't, then I may have to go after these 104 shorts on Zoom as well, in the event that we do eventually break down through there. So a couple options there still on the table, as the ones that I've got are just doing, they're doing just fine in the event the market were to continue to the downside. We've got Brendan waiting for us at the big screen.
Hey guys, yeah, busy morning. Let's talk about a few small caps that were moving in the pre-market. I mentioned this SEV right before the open after that monster move yesterday up through 850. 780 was that kind of middle of the range late in the day yesterday, and then 850 up to about 880 at the top end. Didn't matter anyways, doesn't come into play, but gave you a test right before the open of 760 up to about 775. We're going to move down to 660. It's gotten pretty quiet pretty quick. For SEV, not a lot of volume there. WINT was another one that just went straight to the downside at the open. Not a huge move, but 140, 145 tested the top end of the pre-market range right before the open as well. And then that Westwater Resources we mentioned as well. Positive news aftermarket yesterday has done nothing but fade off with the market. Guys, back over to you.
Yeah, I was just saying, and this is a keystroke error, and it's not a key, well, I guess it's a keystroke error, just more of a trading error there. I left an order out by accident there, it was out there to try to go long if we took this out again, so I had to panic to get out. So that's why you're seeing my Microsoft trade right now. The price is 287.20, so it's right here. But realistically, these were the only buys I had on Softy, which was like 286, and then we did take more shares right there, accident, because, the order was out there. So it's not like I hit a keystroke, but I just left it pending and forgot to cancel it. So hopefully it can go back up to the upside there and we'll get a nice little winner. But look at Roblox right now. We've already taken out some nice wins on Roblox as well, as that's starting to go back up to the upside. Nice little take there, man. And this is what we're doing. Unfortunately, got a little carried away and, let some of those Nvidias and Facebooks kind of fall down to the depths of hell there. But yeah, good little rebound on some of that. Here we go. Maybe you're starting to pick up again to the upside now. Pretty happy with the way everything's trading out for me right now. Netflix, though, we talked about possibly getting out down there at that 214 area. That's not reset testing at all. You are starting to maybe see a shelf there, like around 217, but here comes right back in again, Netflix. So I think I don't mind getting out at 217 or so if we can get that. So let's have a look at that. If it does come back in, we will take that out. But here goes Softy, a nice little move back to the upside. Man, now I wish I didn't get out of that keystroke, but we did talk about that, and I try to lighten up. Like by accident, if we get shares, it's sometimes a good idea to step side from that. But there goes NVIDIA again, a nice little move to the upside. Are you still in, by the way, of Netflix?
Yep.
Okay, good. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you had an out, but there's another one for NVIDIA, so we'll go WTF for that. We did get some out. Unfortunately, the pain was too much to that downside. We're getting a nice little relief rally right now, so all good on that. But yeah, right now, market's coming backside a little bit here as we're about to get out of our Netflix. Oh, no, we're not, sorry. I thought Netflix was down to 217. It's not. So we're going to wait to see if that comes out. 220 though. I just don't want to take this out down here. Let's see where we go on NFLX right now, guys. Microsoft ripping, Roblox ripping. So far, so good here on some of these longs.
Yeah, I'm going to tighten up on Netflix, though. I mean, it's a $31 winner right now, and the market finally got a turn in. Okay, I see you, market. As the market makes a move back to the upside here, I'm looking at my shorts going, which one needs to be protected? And it's going to be Netflix, because Netflix is the one that's gone down the most, right? When the market was coming down, it was absolutely just falling off here. So if the market were to finally turn and shorts want to get out, imagine how many shorts piled on into the short. Apart from the program selling driving it down, I can only imagine how many shorts stepped on board after we broke through 250 and then 240 and then 230 and then 220. So at some point, someone's going to have to, hit the exit door. So I'm going to watch out for that in the event that the market does actually hold up well. Right now it's at 44.67. I'm looking for potential longs. I've been looking for longs around those 60s. I'm not entirely convinced. This could be coming in soon, but not just yet, though. So I'm going to wait a little bit more on those longs on the futures. But at the same time, I'm going to protect this Netflix short. In the event this one snaps back, we've got Micron as well on the short side. I like the daily. I'm okay with that. Even if we lose the market, Micron should hold out well inside of this sell zone. So I'm okay with what Micron is doing because I have levels to work with, right? With Netflix, I have no levels to work with, so we can leave Micron alone. And then the same thing with the Lockheed, right? LMT, I like the short side south of 460. See if we can't get it towards 450 and then work that down. The risk on this one is going to be about $4 or so. It's a 2.5 to 1 payout. So I'm risking $4. Payout maybe is going to be roughly, actually it'll be 2 to 1. I guess if I go for 450, it'll be $8 or so if that one works out towards that level. So that'll be the next checkpoint on Lockheed. It's going to be $4 or to $450 there. FedEx is going, JBHT is going, Marvell is going. Those are longs. I'm not worried about the longs. Now I just got to figure out what to do with the shorts. In this area, I'm not worried about the longs, although the market is now coming back in towards that 60 area. Brendan.
Another one we mentioned the pre-market guys on earnings, IBM having quite the day here, 6.2%, back to day highs, anyways, recent highs, in fact, for IBM.
IBM, yeah, that was a good name there. Okay, now Netflix coming back in here pretty aggressively. Let's cancel that bid. We were bidding there 216 and 50 or so. First we were bidding 217 and then that happened and then I put it downside, but now you can see the market is giving everything back again. Nice little rally right to the 50 period. That was a good indicator maybe to get out of that, any of your longs. And we did a decent job of that. We did empty out some of our Roblox out to the upside. We did empty out some of our NVIDIA anyways up there, but now NVIDIA retesting some of those lows one more time. We've already seen the strength. If the market wants to rally, we know it's here. So we know there's strength in the market, but it's not very long. That's the point, in that these rallies definitely get hit there by some downward moves. I mean, it's a nice rally in the market, but look how fast that does come right back in. I mean, 3 minutes ago we were at 218 on NVIDIA. Now you just touched 215.70 there on the downside. So yeah, definitely starting to make some moves here. The market is one more time. Wow. Okay, that Netflix 217 area, I guess we should have taken that out down there. So I think now I've seen enough on Netflix. I think I'm going to trust the read here and see if we can get that 217.50 or so out there on Netflix, put our order out, and then see if that fills. So let's just take that out. It's been a wicked ride downside, obviously, for Netflix, now in the money $33. But I think this is good enough for me down here. If we get that 217.50, let's think about taking that. What else has come back a little bit? NVIDIA's trying to make that move back, and maybe we have to find some shorts. Twitter only down that 1.5% right now today, so that's something something that we could definitely look at here. Holding 45.30, possible shorts if you get back to 46.20 or so on that. But yeah, wow, what a crazy day. There goes Netflix through 220 right now. Damn it, man, I don't feel the greatest about not taking that 217 fill, but hey, happy the market's trying to rally back a little bit for some of these positions.
Yeah, as the market, well, I mean, it's tempting. It's just a matter of, actually, you know what, since we're looking at these techniques, we should actually be looking at the NASDAQ futures instead of the S&P, because we know the S&P is stable, right? I personally, I don't trade this one on the show just because I have my own positions here. So for when I'm here, I don't trade this one. Actually, I don't trade this one at all through here. So for my own positions, that's different. But for NASDAQ, it is down 0.87%, finding some stability. It looks like around that 1405. I'm not surprised, though, that it fell out around this 14.3 area. Reason being, it's a resistance level. This whole zone from 14.3 all the way up to 14.5 is a resistance area I've got on the daily. We can actually move that one down slightly, but I don't risk too much. I can't risk more than 250 points per contract on a NASDAQ position. That just seems excessive. Even so, for some people, 250 points might seem excessive. But again, with the volatility that the NASDAQ brings, you got to give it some space, right? So it's not surprising that 14,300 is where the market turned. That's the level I've got. But I'm not entirely convinced that, this market's going to fully rotate back up there. The NASDAQ, given what we've gotten, we finally got Netflix turned. What else has finally turned? I mean, maybe Google. Google was down more than 1%. Now it's only down 0.5%, and Adobe is only down 0.37%. So Facebook and Tesla, Tesla's down 3%. Facebook, Tesla, Amazon, and Nvidia are the big losers in the NASDAQ right now. So as long as those ones can stabilize, we can get some longs going here for the rest of the market. But again, S&P is doing just fine. Like you got PG up 2 points, stupid PG. You got PG up 2.65%, Visa up 2%, and then you got MasterCard up 1.78. So banks doing well. Another name I was trying to get my hands on, Goldman. Sean was talking about banks earlier. I was trying to get my hands on Goldman. I had a bid out. This is one of the names I had a bid out on. Never got filled. It was too aggressive, I guess, the bid, because my bid was down here at 235. Actually, where was it? It was like 230. Yeah, I think it was 236 actually. And we never got below that 237 area. So Goldman missed out on, but that's up 1.37%, north of 340 now, with the market and it's still running too. With the market finally finding some buy-side strength, it looks like it finally wants to get going here. Goldman taking off. We've got LMT down, up $1.68. Somebody was mentioning, is there going to be an issue with volume? It's done. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. And you got to be very careful trading something like this. If you look on my screen here, on the level 2, can you guys see? Oh, my face is covering it. Okay, this is what the level 2 looks like. It's very, very thin, but you also got to account for the fact that there's going to be hidden shares here. So there's going to be dark pool orders, and there's probably going to be some icebergs in there too. So you can account for some shares here and there through those venues, but it does look a little thin on the face of it. So you do have to be very, very careful on how you trade if you decide to trade Lockheed. Know what you're getting yourself into, right? It's different trading Netflix because of the volatility today versus something like Lockheed it's doing its thing, but it's, the shares are going to be hard to see. If you haven't watched it before, it's going to be tough to be like, oh, it's very thin, but it's going to be tough to get a handle on where the shares are and how the shares are going to be allocated, but it's there. It should be just enough, should be there. Account for slippage though. When you play this game, account for slippage. Whatever price you think you're going to get out at, add another 20 to 30 cents if you're lucky on Lockheed to get out at. So for now, we're going to be just fine with Lockheed. FedEx is still going. That's almost $3. It's $2.72 in the money. And Netflix bounced north of 220. Now making a look maybe back down towards 220. We can maybe put in some lows if this is the first exit of some shorts. So we'll see how that one ends up. As we go to Brendan, I am going to throw a bid down here on the future, see if I can't catch a long here on a dip to the 60 area. Brendan.
Just seeing a note, some comments from, looks like the CEO possibly, from Lululemon. Guys, we mentioned the increase in the targets for Lulu in the pre-market there. Now they're saying the company expects 80% of guests being a part of their membership program by 5 years. So within 5 years, 80% on the membership side of things for Lululemon, which is also going to be positive for that one today. Coming up, it's 10:30. That means in 15 minutes, stick around. FR&T Financial, brand new listing here on the Venture Exchange in Toronto in the crypto space, providing 24-hour access to crypto trading. We're going to talk to Stéphane Ouellette, the CEO of FR&T, coming up in about 15 minutes. In the meantime, let's get a check on how things in Europe are shaping up with about an hour left in the session over there. Miss V, what's happening?
Hey, Brandon, European markets are back to the positive territory, supported by strong earnings. Food Group Danone, trading in Paris, is up more than 6% after posting stronger quarterly sales growth. Back to you.
I just got the crude oil inventories out there as well. Big drawdown, in fact, 8 million barrels to the draw side versus 3 million to the grow side that was expected. So big drawdown there for crude, guys.
Drawdown? Oh, gas prices. No. What are you doing, crude?
I know, gas prices just jacked up again yesterday for us there, so that was not good. Up to 184 right now, $1.84 a liter. So there's 3.7 gallons in a liter. So you do that math there, almost seven, north of $7, I think now, a liter here, a gallon for gas in Canada, or in Ontario, anyways, Toronto. Yeah, the market is starting to bounce a little bit here, so that's good, man. But we did try our Facebook longs. That didn't work again through 205. I don't think we need to go back into Facebook at all. What about Apple? Our Microsoft is working quite well right now, and Apple's starting to go upside as well, looking to take out, I mean, Apple's just kind of barcoded right now, and if you're gonna look at something that's been pretty strong today into a weak market, I mean, Apple did dip down to 166 there, but now it's rifling right back to the upside. Here's some Apple long I had yesterday into the close, 166, that was good, all the way up to 168. We should have tried to repeat that again as there. I mean, there you go, that's another example, like, you know, stuck here looking at stupid names, when Apple right there takes that level, and we could have just got long 166.50 on Apple, the same spot that we got long yesterday into that close. So trying to buy Facebook bottoms, not a good idea. Trying to buy Apple bottoms seems to be Apple bottoms, that's a good one. Trying to get those bottoms was a good trade. So we'll see what happens here for AAPL, but it looks like it wants to run as well back to the upside. Kind of barcoding right now. If we did get any bids back down here to 167.50, I think that's not bad at all. I'm just sitting here in these positions, man. We did not get that Netflix bump down. It did go down, but I was waiting at 217. It went only to 219. So I'm thinking that that could be something there again. But one more flush down, and we'll have a nice little trade here for Netflix, I feel like, if it does come back in. But energy, yeah, 0.32 now for crude, as you can see there, trying to make that move. I want to get long something, man. It might just be AMD. We have a nice position here on, I don't know if it's nice or not, but we've taken some outs here on NVIDIA, looking to get long something else. But yeah, right now, all good. What's WWR doing? That was a name that we had earlier. Oops, that's an Amex name, I believe. Anyways, Westwater Resources, again, not doing anything. Netflix, still $28 winner, but heading to the downside still right there. What a nasty day for Netflix, down 35%. Wow.
Yeah, I'm just, man, I try to get my fill on the futures too. I missed it. And then it shot up north of 44.70, so ridiculous. But yeah, we don't have a fill yet. I was trying to catch it on the way down. We were snapping down towards those 60s. I was like, okay, this is my chance. And then, boom, 10 points up to the upside. All right, I guess that's the way we're playing this one. It's going to be tough to get a fill on the fill that I want. And we're out of Netflix, by the way. It cracked through that 220. It bounced back underneath and then bounced back up. At that point, there's too much happening. I don't want it. You can't see it on that chart. It's too big. So Netflix, we're working with this area here. That 220, once we stalled that at 215, I was like, okay, there's a chance that we actually, could bounce here. But I wanted to give it space. So I'm like, okay, let's see how this 220 plays out. And then we got above. And then we actually made a move back down and then snapped right back up north of 220. I'm like, at that point, no, I'm done. I'll take my, what was it? It was a 222 and change exit. So that'll be a $29 winner. I'll take that. Thank you. $29 on the second portion. Remember, we got out $1 in the money on the first portion. That was a matter of just controlling risk, right? This was a scalp trade for me. I'm not a huge scalper. If I'm putting up $1 in risk, I know I can get $1 back. I'm taking that every single time. And in this case, it extended further, and I just managed it out like how I normally would manage every other one of my trades, right? So I'm just kind of waiting for that one to I just let it go, and it just worked out well. So we're going to let that one cash it out, walk away from it. That's done. Now we've got Lockheed up 35 2 cents, 14 cents. It's jumping all over the place. Lockheed's up. Micron is up 13 cents. FedEx is up $3.11. Marvell is up 24 cents. And then JBHT down 20 cents. And the futures, the big one that I really care about, I can't seem to get a fill at the price that I want. The bids are still there. We're going to take that fill. If it can come down a bit more and come back into that low 60 area once again, I would appreciate the fill. I've been looking for this trade all morning. I've just been, slow playing this a little bit because of the way the tech has been moving. But now that I've gotten everything I need to see to go for the long, I just need the price. I can't even step up because it's too expensive to step up because of the stop that I'm using. I'm using a stop down at 44.20, right? South of 44.20. So it's a wide stop. So I'm putting in north of 40 points to take this trade, but I'm not stepping up into the 70s. So we're going to have to wait. If we get the fill, I would appreciate that, like I appreciated the tacos. But if we don't get the fill at the price that I want, I'm not going to chase this.
Yeah, that's right. You did appreciate the tacos, right? We talked about that yesterday. Yeah, hopefully Trader. Yeah, is that Trader Prad? Yo, what's up, Trader Prad? Didn't see him slip in there. So Trader Prad is in the building.
He shaved his beard.
I was going to say I was sitting.
He shaved his face.
Let's not ruin this. Oh no, take that off.
They gotta know.
Take it off.
Babyface Trader Prad is in the building.
Today is a new day for Trader Prad, so he's going to be coming back through. Really glad to see him back in the building. So shout out to my man Trader Prad back in the building, ladies and gentlemen. So that'll be a great show in the midday show as well. Definitely missed him here, so that's great to be able to see that. There it is. Who is that guy? Everybody, babyface. Everyone spoiling it. Thanks, Arun. Okay, let's go now. Microsoft $1.31 in the money and still trying to make some moves to the upside here. So good trading today, honestly, picking up those bottoms. The only thing we really screwed up on was that Facebook initial long, which does suck for sure on that one. We are into a new position. You guys call me crazy right now, but we're going to go back into Palantir right now. There it is. There's some Prad love. Everybody loving Prad in the chat. But there it is. Nice little move to the upside, up to 98. Let's see if we can get that. We are now above the 50 period, and I just want to hold it until then, man. If we break back below this, like 87, then we can get out of here on Palantir. Let's just see if there is some strength to this name. Who knows? But that's what we're going to test out very, very soon to see if that is the case. NVIDIA, though, man, these names today, the semis, just weak. Like, we should have gotten out of the way of this name a long time ago as well. But again, this has been okay. We did take a dump there. Some nice average prices. But yeah, NVIDIA is going to be a red stock for us. But that's definitely failing right here. So we got to find the stocks that are strong. Apple's pretty strong there. We talked about you guys yelling at me about Walmart. Walmart's at that 160 level. Shout out to whoever that was mentioning that there. I kept seeing you, but my mind's going everywhere today. Walmart, a nice long, up to 1.39%. Wow. And the daily looks pretty sweet on Walmart as well. Look at this, man. Straight to the upside. We talked about inflation coming through and, yeah, what that means for the consumer. They're stepping down, I guess. More sales coming for Walmart. A nice little move to the upside on that name as we go. Netflix still cruising up, man. 225 there on NFLX. Hope some of you guys bought some of that dip. I'm willing to buy some of this dip as well. Microsoft, if it does come in. This is a name that I think is pretty strong today. So if we can get back into around 286 and change, I think that'll be a good long. We might start it at around 287. You could see there's VWAP right there, 287.50. No better of a spot to start that. So if the market does fade back in here, I'm going to be looking long on Microsoft, guys, back down to 287.50.
Yeah, T's trade. I see asking about my target on FedEx. Before we go to Brendan, I'll just quickly do this here. It's going to be in this area. It's going to be somewhere between 213 and 214. That's the first portion. The reason I say this is because if you go back, that's Netflix. Actually, we'll do this after I come back from Brendan, just because there's a lot more to say about this one. So Brendan's got a sector watch for us at the big screen.
Hey guys, yeah, pretty self-explanatory looking board here today. Yeah, all about the communication services group as expected. Netflix, 37.5%. There's Paramount, 11.5%. Everything else here being dragged down with it. That's Disney, 4%. WBD, 6% to the downside. Even Fox under pressure. Comcast as well under pressure 1.5%, 2.5% to the downside. So basically the entire negativity in the market coming from the communication services group, OMC and IPG, a couple of earnings names standing out to the upside. But everything else actually not bad as far as PayPal I was going to mention as well. Top corner here, 7% to the downside. Tech stocks, though, basically unchanged. There are a few in the semiconductor group that are in negative territory, but a lot of strength coming through from hardware equipment makers and software makers. Healthcare, industrial stocks, financials, all positive on the day, helping to offset this move entirely. Consumer staples and real estate stocks as well. Consumer discretionary, it's worth mentioning Etsy, another one of those names getting hit today, down 7% so far. Amazon, I saw as well, obviously a streaming portion there. 2.5% move, though, for Amazon. But there's actually a lot of green on this board, 0.4 for the overall market. But I don't think I've ever seen some of these boxes standing out the way Netflix is today, guys. Back over to you.
Yeah, Netflix is on its own little path today. As it finally bounces, I guess. But it's been quite the ride to the downside. Going back to FedEx, targets, I'm looking, it's going to be between 213 half and 214 even. First target, the reason being, if you go back to the 5th of April, they spent a lot of time here, I'm noticing here. Once we got north of 208, 209, we really didn't have a whole lot in terms of resistance, except for you go back on the 5th, and you get a lot of action here between 213 and 214. I'm going to lean a little bit further towards that 214. I could be wrong, so I'm actively looking at this in the event that I actually need to pull back a little bit. Maybe, you know what, 213 half is good enough, but I am sitting closer to 214 on the exits here for the first portion. Trail, I mean, I'm not worried about the trail. The trail is going to be, we'll see how this one plays out. I go back to the 5. Where do we stall at on the way back up? It's going to be around that 212 half. So I'm going to put the stops out to 212 on the trail. So worst case scenario, this comes all the way back to 212. I walk away with just a shade underneath $2 per share. First target, if we get hit up here, then I walk away with like a $3.60 or so, 360, 370 up here on the first exit, and then we'll trail the rest of it the same way. So it's either trail all of it through 212, or we get hit on targets on some of them, and then we trail the rest of it through 212. So this is definitely the area we're looking at for a profit target. It's also a one-to-one risk. Remember, I put up $3 in risk to take this trade. We're up $3 right now. If I get a little bit more, it'll make it just over a one-to-one, and then we can trail it and be confident, because after we clear this 214, or after we clear this 14 area, next up is going to be through that 15, 16 level. So I am, we're getting close. You don't want to get too greedy, especially when we get into that resistance levels. Oh, you guys can't see that. Especially when you get into these like daily hesitation points here between 216 through 220. I don't want to be too greedy through those levels. So I am going to be a little bit tight with how I'm taking profit on the way back up on these longs. So we're going to wait and let that one go. And futures, come down, please. I want that long. I missed it by a few ticks on the initial move after we got down there. And then now it just took off to 75. I don't want to chase this. I'm not chasing this north of 70. So I want those low 60s. And I obviously hesitated just a bit, but long enough to miss the trade. So here we are waiting for a fill on the futures.
Yeah, sometimes it's just that little, I mean, this is the way the market moves, man. It's a little crazy right now. We're going to go to a new position alert right now as we get ready to go to our guest of the day. But Apple right now comes in. We're going to take this long. It's faded back down here. Let's see if the market has some legs. We're long into Apple right now. It's been a fun day, but we're going to go over to the big desk with our guest of the day and Brendan.
All right, thanks, guys. As mentioned, FRNT Financial joining us today. Brand new listing on the Venture Exchange here in Toronto, regulated derivatives provider, 24 access to crypto trading. We're going to talk to Stéphane Ouellette, the CEO of the company, and get his take on a pretty exciting week. Welcome, Stéphane. It's great to have you. Great to learn a little bit more about FRNT. We're going to get your take a little bit later on as well on the overall crypto markets, because let's face it, there's never a dull moment in Bitcoin and in crypto in general. But congratulations on the listing. First off, again, FRNT guys on the Venture Exchange here in Toronto. Tell us a little bit about the company.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. This is such a cool program. I was a trader my whole life, so seeing this is just this is my bread and butter here. I'm really enjoying watching it. So FRNT was basically born out of the idea that there were other alpha opportunities available for institutional investors within the crypto space that weren't really being pitched. we find that as I don't think it's going to be a major surprise, but the narrative in cryptocurrency is very beta oriented. Everything's going to the moon and all of that. And what myself and my co-founder found through trading the market ourselves was that, in fact, that there's massive market inefficiencies and arb opportunities that exist in the cryptocurrency space that aren't being pitched to institutions who have mostly taken the assets off their screen because they don't think they're investable for their kind of sophistication of investor because of the volatility and a lot of uncertainty, educational deficits. So initially, our FRNT was founded with the idea that we'd create the world's most diverse suite of regulated structured products that would give institutional investors access to regulated futures in a broader set of coins, such as we have, Solana on our platform, Polkadot, other kind of top 10 cryptocurrencies like that, but also that we'd securitize arb opportunities such as those available on basis so that institutional investors could directly invest in these dynamics without having to actually hold cryptocurrency themselves, which we find to also be a major friction for them in getting to the space. There's an education and lack of sales in the space, and also a lack of products that allow highly regulated firms to participate. So that was initially what FRNT was built out of. But since then, it's become very much a full service investment banking style platform. We have physical trading technology of cryptocurrency for investors. We have treasury management solutions for those large holders of cryptocurrency. We're doing a lot of advisory work now with kind of tier one organizations, some of which we've disclosed in our prospectus that investors could look at. And really, we're speaking to the traditional financial community about how they can participate in cryptocurrency in a wide variety of ways. Because as we all know, cryptocurrency has minted many billionaires, created many unicorns of companies, but there's still this huge deficit in education and access for institutional investors to participate. And we fill those gaps in every way that we can.
All right, so obviously an exciting time to be involved in the crypto markets. No better person to get your thoughts on where we're at right now, because as we said, we've had a pretty impressive rally back. We'll start with Bitcoin, obviously, and you can talk about Ethereum if you like as well. But as far as the majors are concerned, give us your overall general thoughts here on how this market looks.
Yeah, well, if you can believe it, we're in just a massive range here. I mean, the market has the market is quite clearly telling you here that there's uncertainty around investors of whether we're still in a bull market or we're entering a bear market. A lot of the financing trades have really flattened out. The futures curve is very flat, which is very unusual in the crypto space, which is kind of typified by people either thinking the space is going to 1 million or going to 0. So, we've been now ever since really kind of October, we've been following macro markets here a lot on the larger currencies that you alluded to, in terms of just deciding whether or not we're going to continue through a speculative frenzy or whether or not, the market's going to turn with the rest of risk assets. But I do think that there's a lot more fundamental support to currencies like Bitcoin out there, just in terms of the way that the world's moving. I think that, fundamentally, we still see, large sovereigns are starting to get more involved in the cryptocurrency space. There's been a lot of thought around protection of assets that has come out of both the pandemic, and the most kind of latest conflicts in Europe that I think are continuing to fundamentally support, the larger currencies such as Bitcoin. I still think an existential risk to the entire space is really inflated altcoin valuations. But I'd say that leaving those altcoin valuations aside, which if those trades unwind, could potentially be very negative for the larger currencies just through a cross correlation of assets type sell off. But fundamentally, some of my thoughts of we are definitely in a sideways market right now. Fundamentally, I'm bullish on the space. My major concern is inflated altcoin valuations.
Stéphane Ouellette, CEO of FRNT Financial, joining us. There's been so much discussion, Stéphane, on regulation and the need for more regulation and the possibility that brings in more institutional side money into the space. Give us your thoughts here going forward on what role increased regulation will eventually play in crypto space.
Yeah, I think that regulatory clarity continues to be a major issue for institutional investors in the space. There's still, outside of Bitcoin, there really hasn't been any kind of major opining on how these assets are characterized by U.S. regulators. There's still a very, a huge a huge lack of clarity around what platforms are viewed as legal platforms versus which platforms are viewed as illegal platforms. So, institutions, in spite of the fact that this industry continues to tell, the media and all that institutions are flooding to the space, it is very much the first inning for institutions. There's a huge lack of understanding around the space. And like I said, because the asset class is so volatile, people aren't really doing their due diligence in the way that they should to really uncover the more alpha-driven, market inefficient opportunities, which I think that will really attract institutional investors. They've really just taken it off their screen through a lack of understanding and these issues that they're facing on the regulatory side. So I think, regulatory clarity, more firms like FRNT really jumping into this space and focusing on providing sales services to the institutions is another major factor outside of regulation to bring them in. But I definitely think that, that institutions are looking for regulatory clarity. It's uncertain whether they're going to get it in the near term. There continues to be major issues that the regulators are grappling with. But I definitely think that would help institutional participation.
More to come, obviously more needed, possibly in the space as well as we head into, it's hard to believe we're already in the second quarter of this year, Stefan, but tell us a little bit about what excites you going forward, going into the latter half of 2022 here in the crypto market space. I mean, you mentioned a few off the top there, Solana, Polkadot. What has you excited this year for cryptos?
Yeah, I mean, I tend to I tend to think that the consensus narrative around crypto is often misplaced. Like, for example, I think that the two most major developments from the last bull market in cryptocurrencies was one that people finally viewed Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation versus where the last inflation scare occurred in 2012. That was never a narrative that took off with investors. And sovereign adoption, most notably El Salvador, bringing their whole economy onto BTC. So I think that those are two trends that I'm really excited to see continue. I'm excited to see more sovereigns continue to get into space, particularly ones that are pegged to the US dollar that hasn't really been working for them. And they're been on the losing end of having inflation exported to them for a long time. And then seeing, real investors start to view Bitcoin in particular, but other kind of large liquid cryptocurrencies as an alternative investment, given the changing landscape of the world. And so, I think that as more serious investors view this as an alternative asset class set for institutional investment, and as more sovereigns continue to push their populations into adoption, I think that there's a lot to be excited about in the larger cryptocurrencies going forward.
Great look. Great thoughts as well. FRNT Financial, guys, as said, brand new listing on the Venture Exchange here in Toronto. Check them out. FRNT is the ticker symbol. Stefan Willette, CEO of FRNT Financial. Thank you for doing this, sir. A real pleasure. Appreciate the time.
Thank you for having me on. Hopefully speak to you again.
Have a great day. FRNT Financial, guys.
Yeah, interesting. Good. Whoa, my mic just fell there. Interesting take there. Make sure this is on. Yes, on some of the crypto space, and I agree. I mean, these altcoins, some of them have gotten absurdly expensive, and/or a little bit too much focus on some of those coins. Like I said, I've been talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum. Lightened up when we went south of 4,000 or 40,000 there on Bitcoin. Bought it back. Same thing with Ethereum right now. So I feel like this good for trading environment as well right now. But yeah, there still seems to be like everybody's bearish on everything right now. It's like bearish in the NASDAQ, bearish on crypto, like bearish on Netflix.
I was bearish.
Why would anybody be bearish on Netflix? Yeah. Netflix down today, down 25%. But yeah, we've made a hell of a lot of money back, man. $1.50 now in the money off some of these trades here on Softy. Look at this. Boom, boom, boom. Go back to what you do best. Happy 420 to everybody out there as well. Go back to the stocks that you trust, man. And Microsoft was one of those names. Today, we put too much faith in this guy, Facebook. This is really what started it all for me all the way to the downside. And Facebook really hasn't even got off yet. So this is probably a weak name. But look at our Apple trade. We reloaded down there as well. So now we're going to have Apple go back to the upside. Our Roblox, let's go. Pigs get slaughtered on Roblox, but we'll take $1 any day on this name. We're long here. Well, it's not $1, it's 80 cents. 36.12. We've been getting them out in the 80s. Our best out there, though, 92. So some nice takes there. And then, by the way, look at Palantir right now off of this nice long. We're starting to go upside again, up to 08. this might be worth the take right here, 408 if we can get in. There we go. As it rips through 08, bang for Palantir as well. So good day so far. A couple missteps, as you guys are well aware, but I'm pretty happy with the way the day's been. Tomorrow, let's see if we have a 40% mover tomorrow. Let's check out the earnings board.
I wonder if it'll be Tesla. Possibly not.
How dare you?
Possibly not. Definitely not downside. Anyways, here we go. Yeah, Tesla, the main one, guys, obviously. A few other names, though.
How dare you say that about Tesla, Brendan? Imagine if Tesla goes down 40%, what's going to happen to our chat and to this world. But it's possible. It's possible.
The world will go on, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, the world definitely would go on for sure. American Airlines there, obviously an interesting name heading into some of the strength. You talked about Delta being up for 7 straight days, so we like American Airlines there. I've been talking about American Airlines since that Delta report came out. Those are good ones. A name that Neil likes, Danaher there as well. CSX, I mean, in the energy. You got Alcoa there, top left. I mean, this is a big, and there's so many more too, United. I mean, there's so many big names that are going to be coming through in the next couple days. That earnings season is now, so we're really happy about that. And it kicked off basically today with that. I mean, kicked off a couple days ago, but today, a big move in Tesla also, but in Netflix. We look forward to that Tesla move tomorrow for sure. Microsoft, everything's cruising right now. And right now we got to go over to Ms. V and see what she's up to. What's up, Ms. V?
I want to give a big shout out to Russell Jackson, to our good friend, for sending us super chat saying, excellent work, Sean, flossing it as always. Guys, I hope you're having a great day. Thank you for being with us this morning. Please join Prad finally and me right after for Market Movers, and happy National 420 to you.
420 day, that's what day it is right there. So we'll go a little bit. Yeah, enjoy some of that. But like I said, be responsible with it and make sure that, you're healthy. There it is, the Weed Batman. There. I mean, now, yeah, we have too many graphics for this, as you guys can see. And here's another one there. If you're going to be doing anything, just some tunes, whatever you like. But yeah, happy 420 day to everybody. And we didn't even look at Tilray or anything today. So let's just have a, down. Remember yesterday you guys were asking me, and I know everyone's getting ready to hit something there.
No, there's nothing else to hit.
Okay, I was just going to say, yesterday you guys were asking about Tilray. If you come over here, down 5%, I said, you would never trade something due to the date. Okay, we need to get some kind of, motivation here for the sector, and that's going to come from the Fed. So other than that, we stay away from Tilray, but happy 420 day to everybody.
Just a couple things. If you choose to partake, do not trade. Just be smart about it. Don't trade. You don't want your account blown up for whatever reason. Tease trade, quick update. I did get some out. As we were getting north of that 213.50, I got some out. Like I said I was going to do in that range, right? I would prefer close to 14, but given how we were moving through those 13 halves, I decided to just cash out some there. Rest on a trail south of 212, so that's doing just fine. Futures, again, we missed out on that 60 long there. Didn't get filled, so we're going to have to just maybe pull. I don't even know at this point, because of the way it took out those 80s, I don't even know if I want it if it comes back down to 60. So we're going to wait on that one a little bit for now, though. We're in the money on everything except for Micron as we head into the final minute. And did you guys see how excited Valeria was?
Yeah, she's happy.
When she found out that Prad was back, man, it's going to be a good show. Stay tuned, because babyface Prad is going to be back. And in front of you guys, he's got a lot to say. I'm sure he's got a lot to say. He's been on
he never has a lot to say.
He's been on a 1 week break. So imagine how well rested his voice is. You know he's gonna be throwing spitting some hot fire, because I heard some noise back there for some trades. So I know he's in some big winners too as well. Maybe cashed out something big. Maybe he was part of Netflix as well. But we've got 30 seconds left before you guys see them.
Okay, we are, good little throw there. We are reloaded into Microsoft. That came down to VWAP. We quickly take a 20-cent win on part of it, and now we're going to try to hold out to see if we can get that 289 and then even higher here on Microsoft, as maybe this market has temporarily found a bottom, but the NASDAQ just dancing right now around this 50 period. So that to me is just going to be like, we're on the brink of either dumping everything we have or seeing a move.
Before we go, just give me 5 seconds.
Go ahead.
No, continue on. Finish up what you're. Okay, before we go, somebody asked for it. That's for Netflix, guys. That's not just for me. That's also for Sean.
Bang.
That's for me and Sean on Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix was a nice little pew-pew action there for sure. But watch out, because this market could be coming to the south side. But there's no one better to take you through the next couple hours than Trader Pratt and Miss V. So let's throw it over to the midday show. Welcome back, my man.
Welcome back to Market Movers. It is time for the best day of the best show on YouTube. It is the Market Movers with
That's
Trader Pratt
right.
and the beautiful Miss V.
Thank you, Prad, and you did, Arun. You noticed it right. I'm super happy you're back, Prad, right on 420. Looking fresh, looking great. We're so glad you're back. Guys, please, as usual, be active on the chat. Ask us anything. Smash that like button because our Prad is back.
Yeah,
What did you trade today?
baby.
Have you seen Netflix?
I have been, and I was actually tracking Netflix from yesterday.